going live right now.
Okay.
Hi. Well, cup of morning to you, and all that good stuff is that it's a good day for me, and it's morning for me. It could be mid-afternoon, night towards you. I am Brenda Power, Medicine Woman, and I'm from Medicine Woman Solution. And this is my last video at this point until let's see, I'm going on vacation. It's going to feel really good. So what are we going to talk about today? Many things. We're just going to wait for people to come into the room. I know that the important part is to share. I'm just not sure how to share. That's my problem, because on my end, I can't really see how to do that. Anyways, let the people come in. Hello, Lillian. Yes. So we had an event. We had the full moon. So hopefully you guys are doing, I didn't do any full moon ritual with you to help you understand how to do all that, but maybe in the future. This was a mega big boost for all of us that we're going into another ascension. And so when I did the 11/11 meditation, it was very huge because it helped people get into the new timeline, to start downloading their divine truth for their personal path and their divine truth for what their part is to awaken to what they're supposed to do in the world. And so to me, that was very exciting. We have a new address to send your 1-minute free reads, because I'm always about streamlining, make sure, and it's always the best. And make sure, Amy, you put the email address over in YouTube land so that Patricia and whoever else gets on can know where to send their 1-minute free reads. So we made it simpler, and this way it is very short and not something you don't have to forget. And as soon as I say that, I'm like, what was it I said? It's MWS, like Medicine Woman Solution, MWS for you at dr.com. That way you send your 1-minute free reads there. PayPal's the same as it always has been. The link is provided on Facebook, but the PayPal is the same. You know, it's bpower.mw@dr.com. So there's that. And just remember, how we do this is that Spirit speaks, and then the paid expedites. If you want a paid reading, $9 for 6 minutes, and it gets fully in depth. If you can call, that way it can be much easier and you get more in depth of what you want. Healing tools, we had a one-on-one. How do you call me? Well, you need to become friends with me on Facebook, Brenda Power. Now you'll see 2 Brenda Powers, but you got to look for the one that has I think it's the black shirt, or the yellow. No, that's black. Yellow is this one. And then, you can call me through Messenger. Hello, Marianne. I hope you had a good time and hope you're doing better. I'd like to hear what's happening in your world. Let's see. And my head just went blank. It was funny. I had a client, and their loved ones had left breadcrumbs and chocolate chips that led them to me. And when they came through, I didn't even really have to say much. It was just mega chills. I mean, oh my God, I never had so much confirmation in my life from the other side. It was so strong, and it was an amazing feeling. And so she had 3 people come through. It was awesome. But I don't know, I just thought, wow, this is amazing. So we're learning to find the right groups to share us in. You have to read the rules. There are so many different people out there that say that they get banned. But, I saw one today. It says free psycho readings, whatever it was. And then they had a live thing. But when I read the instructions to say if I could do it, it says, no, you can't have live feeds, and you will be kicked off. And I'm thinking, okay. So be prepared to watch for when you read me instructions about where to share, because somewhere I must be good at sharing, or me be there. Now, why is it that I'm asking for the email? Because I want the ones that really want the attention, that want to put the effort in to receiving. I have so many people that come to me and they want me to do all the work. And yet they don't want to do the work. And then they have no idea how to connect with anything I'm saying. And that bothers me. And it's like, Spirit, I want to be of higher service. And I want people that I'm in line with. Like when I had that one client and the other side, I had already told the people on the other side, if you want your loved ones here, go get them. Bring them to me. Let's do this. It was quite obvious that they're listening on the other side. So it was awesome. I didn't have to do anything. Just like, and then, it was just like, everything was just completely tuned in. It was like, they've been preparing us for that moment. And it was like, oh, all right. And the people want it, and the people that really want to change and to be happy. And so when I'm looking at people that want change, it's like they look and they can see that they're stuck in a program. They can see their hells and they're like, ugh. And it's like, okay. And so I want to help them. And so you do most of the work. I just guide you. I show you the tools that work, that I can show you where your energies are off, and I can help you in such a beautiful way. But then I've had people come through that just want me to do all the work, define everything. Define is not a problem, but here's the thing about the brain. If it doesn't learn any new way to predict, hello, Ken, and Crystal, if your brain does not learn a new way to predict, it's just going to keep staying a program. So when I teach classes, I will teach and then I'll have you recite back to me to some degree what it is I just said, so that your brain actually can paraphrase. And what is paraphrasing? Completely understand what I'm saying. Because when in the world I live in, I bump into people that can be so far from their spirit and will be saying the exact same thing, but it'll be totally different language. And it makes us completely out of sync. So confusing. So it took a while to realize I'm in the wrong relationships with people, because I need to be of higher service, not just to myself, but to other people. And that is to find the language and people understand. And when you connect those dots, I don't know how you want to explain it. Amy, are you there? Because, she's been on this journey with me, and Amy Schmalz, Spirit says I needed a volunteer. And I said, okay. She says, I'll be your guinea pig. I said, all right. That means you have to be raw. That means you have to just be yourself and be honest. Now, we have made videos, but we haven't put anything up. And that's because it's not the timing. Amy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So what does it mean? I forgot my question now. When you're connecting the dots, what's that feel like?
It feels like things start coming together and you start realizing, oh shit, that's why that happened. That's why this happened.
And it makes sense.
And then it starts to make sense. And yeah, like I had a headache earlier today and I told you that, and you said, rub these points, and I rubbed those points and it's gone.
That's good.
5 minutes, headache was gone. Headache most of the day.
Now, sometimes she'll go ahead and she'll rub some points and she'll think, okay, that's what Brenda would do. And then it's like, it didn't work. And sometimes you have to understand your body really well. And I said, oh, you got to rub the point. See, a lot of people will rub right here. Is that spleen 21 that has to do with, it's an amazing point. So if you ever start feeling like you're going to be sick, you get those going. But underneath, you go 4 fingers underneath, and it's usually like that 5th point. And if you just took and you hold, you don't have to pinpoint, just put your hands there, especially after you eat. Like I will feel really sluggish if I eat the wrong food. And it's like, oh, so sorry, pancreas. I'm so sorry. I love you. I love you, buddy. So I will go and I'll hold those points, and then my head will go, and I'm back. For her, she has type 2 diabetes, you said? Yeah,
Yep.
she's shaking her head. Yeah. This is radio. This is
Yeah,
not radio,
I
it's
have
live.
2 diabetes, yes.
Yes. Okay. So what that means is that, she can feel it a whole heck of a lot different than I will. And because I don't have that hypoglycemia I used to have. So, but, and I'm thinking, wow, she was having blowbacks of having, what do I mean by that is that they just seem to be coming faster. And it's like, all I kept hearing is that it's her mental thinking that's connected to what she's eating, or it's mental thinking, and then she's consuming something, whether it's water or whatever it is. And it is, so there's breakdowns of what all that is. And then sometimes it's just a simple case of, let's just hold some points so that you're sending energy and sending energy. That's not what I mean. You're an electromagnetic being. You affect yourself. The oh my God point, just doing this alone helps bring the blood back up to your forebrain. Okay. And so you end up taking and doing this, you are sending an electromagnetic pulse that says, let's balance this point because they're meridian points on your body. All right, let's get the numbers up. Let's see if anybody else wants me. I am so thankful for all of you. I really am. But 11:11 meditation, one of my divine truths was that I have to get out there more. And it's like, what does that even mean? Because I have. I've tried. I've done. No, not tried. The only thing I haven't done was to take the money and put it into pasting for ads. And eventually that will come. It's just that I have to take and save the money up to get little things. Like I got the computer now. I have a phone now. I got a new battery for my laptop to make that work. And, just little things. So, and Amy, I sent you 2 links so that if you can send it and put that live onto those websites I sent you. That, because I can't seem to share.
Okay. You want them on the live feed?
Yeah, there's 2 websites I sent, and they take live feeds. I just can't share it because there's no button here for me to share.
Okay.
And so now Amy will be getting your emails. Amy, Ken said he sent an email. Do you have a message from Ken? Just let's make sure that, Crystal Island too. So we just want to make sure that that's working and nothing gets in the spam box or, because when we do the 1 minute free reads.
I've got 3. I've got Crystal Allen, I've got Lenore, and I have Meridian.
Okay, so Ken may have sent it to the other address. I'm just going to double check to see. Oh, you're so sweet, Marianne. So we had a reading and I went over and I didn't, but anyway, she paid for that and she's paying for 2 6-minute readings. So I got to remember Marianne wants 12 minutes. I got to remember that. We're going to double check to make sure Mr. Ken.
Yep, Ken's came.
Oh, yours came through, Ken. Okay. All right, that's all good. And the thing is you do get a free read. You get 1 minute. You may not think it's a lot, but it is a lot. And this 1 minute free read is to help you to connect the dots in your world, understand your emotions, your mental state, because people don't realize, and it's time to wake up to that. Your thinking and your feeling have everything to do with the magnetic attraction to what is called life. Today's topic is about quantum law of attraction. That's all I do. Why is it quantum law of attraction? Make sure Danny gets answered there. Are you having problems, people? Can everybody hear, or is it just her earbuds real quick? Because I did sometimes have to turn this up and down. Amy, you can hear me good on that live feed? Everybody can hear me? Let's just do a sound check real quick. And if you have an audio feedback.
I can hear you. I'm Zoom, but yeah, my phone was working fine when I was on mute.
Crystal says that she can hear me. Okay, so there's got to be an audio feedback with Danny's equipment. somewhere. So if she's listening to it someplace twice, that's usually what happens. But anyways, thank you, angels, for taking care of that. But as far as getting your information, okay. Oh, Marianne says she's hearing a buzz. It's ringing on mine. Huh. Would my phone do that? Because this one, sometimes softly. So people hear something softly. I'm trying to listen myself.
I'm gonna mute myself and then I'm gonna listen.
Okay, you do that, Aim, and we'll see what happens. Because if my phone is too close, I'll have to figure out how to change that. Because the only other time that I had it was my laptop was too close to the mic. So I moved my laptop completely away from the camera, which didn't make any sense because you're supposed to be able to put a camera on. There is a buzzing. I can hear you, though. It's cutting. Well, let's see. All right, if I turn this up, is it too loud? I don't think my volume button should have anything to do with it, but then again, sometimes it does. Huh. Let me think here. It's buzzing loudly. Yes, a cricket sound.
The only thing I hear that's odd is the kitten.
No, people are actually hearing weird things. It's a high pitch, will drop occasionally, but you're still audible. Thank goodness. Wow. Okay, so YouTube Land does not seem to have an issue. I'm wondering if it's my phone. Yeah, Mercury. Sure is. Okay. The only way I'm going to be able to move this phone, Aim, is if I take you down. I don't know if you're going to be able to see me, though.
Oh, I see you 3 other places, so.
Thank God for that, eh? Nope, that didn't help. Ooh, that's not good. It's the magnet. Anyways, I'm just going to put you right here. You'll look at, oh, no, you don't need to see a ceiling. All right, does that make the less buzzing? Because I try to make sure there's no cameras or nothing too dramatic. Stop what? Anyways, audio issues. The high pitch. I don't really want to start over, but I don't want a high pitch either. Okay, YouTube's good, so it's got to be whatever's going on here. Oh, let's see. If I change that and change that, how's that? Let me get rid of that one. Yeah, if I leave out, that means you're all going to have to try to find me again, okay? That's the only issue we have there. And if anybody shared, then there's going to be an issue with that. Aim, you still here?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Oh, I do hear sound. No, that wouldn't be it. Is it leaning against something? No, that's the thing. So I really make sure those cameras are not touching. Well, I don't like the fact you guys have that high pitch. I'm going to close it and we're going to start over. You're going to have to, YouTube Land, stay right there. We're good. And Facebook Land, okay. Aim, make sure you copy and paste whatever you want because here we go. And I'll be back. Oh, good to know, Krista. And so it's got to be this computer, or I might have to change out the video or the monitor. Oh, I don't really want to do that, but I can, because this has got a built-in mic, and that might be what's screwing with it. Oh, speaking of that, then that's what I can do. Let's see. I'll have to title that later. I wonder if... Okay, so now we're back. I'm going to check something here. Oh, well, that just took away the whole screen. That didn't help either. Yeah, it'd help if I could actually see what I'm doing. Oh, goody. People are coming back. Oh, what we want to sound. Because I have a feeling I think I know what it is. Nope. There's got to be a volume button on it here. Very good. All right, I'm going to turn this volume off on this one and see what happens. And then if it doesn't pick up on the other speaker. Okay, so that volume button is off. People said it's already so much better. Can you hear me, though, in Facebook land?
Yes, when I turned up my volume, I could hear you.
Okay, so I shut the monitor mic off. And people are coming and joining now. Let's try this again, people. Okay.
Can you put me back up?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're looking at the ceiling. I don't think that's causing it, though. Let's see what happens. Perfect. Better. Okay. All right. Everybody's hearing me just fine. Thank you very much for waiting. Time now. I have no idea what time. Oh, it's 21 minutes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Share away. Do this again. We'll start over. My title is missing, but I had quantum law of attraction. Everybody knows what law of attraction is to some degree. Yes. Very simply, it is that, what you sow is what you reap. You've heard that growing up in religion. And what you put out is what comes back. What you think is what you see. Thoughts become things. Law of attraction and it's like trying to find out. So if I focus on what I want, I'm going to get it. Well, here's the thing. People don't realize that you are making a vibrational match. The more that you are in sync with, and people think, oh, positive thinking. They've been trying to do that. Say, get money, do this and that. What is all this about? How come it doesn't really work? And so they don't quite get it. Now, here's the thing. If your heart and your mind, you got that? That means thoughts and emotions start to attract. Thoughts are electric, emotions are magnetic. Those two come together, and when the vibration is just right, you'll manifest. Now, you're really good at manifesting shit. Just let you know, you're a professional in it. You have lifted weights beyond belief on that one. We all have. That was the paradigm. And a lot of us go into the right. Don't get confused between brains. The right, upper right of the eye. And the upper right of the eye had to do with sharing information with what's in the brain. But if the brain is communicating and you're using the upper right eye, you're constructing. That's imagination and things like this. But when you comply it with your heart, which is full of, oh my God, fear, suspicious, anger, jealousy, disappointment, states of mind with emotions, then that emotion becomes very magnetic, and your thoughts about constructing, like, oh, I know what's going to happen. I run to that end of that timeline and I can predict what they're going to do. Oh my God, yes, I know it's already happened. I know. And gut feelings, I know it's happening. But that's false self-assuredness. That's false intuition, because you're operating through the ego mindset, not the spirit. And so it gets very crazy, because then spirit says, oh, and so you're going to line up. The universe is saying, is really that what's real? It doesn't judge, but it goes, really? No. Spirit says, okay, your wish is my command. What does that mean? It means that when God was created, oh, did you hear me correctly? Yes, I did. I did say that. Because the void, all there was a void. And the void contemplated, went in, came out, created the God point. God then went in, came out and created the mirror image. That's us. And then we were told to go out and do the same thing and go out and create. Okay, so when we go out and we create, we go in, we come out. Now, what makes us different than God? So we have a soul recorder. We are both spirit. We both came from source. We're both thoughts that became things. And we have a recorder, though. What does this recorder do? It records our individual journeys. You have emotional shit going on, you're going to have it. Now, if this goes on, and what everything we say, oh, I want a chocolate chip cookie, we need to have flour, all this and that. And God says, okay, which is my command. Do. And then you're like, oh, I want to put some of this brown stuff on it. And then and then you're like, oh, that tastes like shit. Let that go. I want to put this brown stuff on, which could be chocolate chips. Aha. Yes, it's not mouse turds. Personal joke there. But spirit will give you, because you're in alignment with what you want to create, it will give you exactly what you ask for. Now, if you're sitting there thinking about elephants, there's a difference between fantasy, and then there is the difference between imagination with all of your emotions and fears. But here's the thing. What creates your reality is it first started with a thought, an idea. And when you pull that in and you match it with your emotions and how you know it, so you're already believing it before you see it, the latter appears before you know it, okay? People think they have to see it and say, oh, there, and that it's true. But your sensory system doesn't make it so. You already do. So it's a vibrational match. Your memories on the left part of the way your eyes are holding it will hold those pictures that are unresolved issues. It already has the magnetic of the emotions and the thought processes of all that had happened. You took pictures of it. You took and you memorized it. And without realizing it, it's not just sculpting you, but it's repeating. It hasn't resolved. This is where your energy is on it, and it's an unresolved issue. And then it's just picked up, brought over, and put in the present moment. So you become very present with your freaking issues, but you become very dissident or just separated from your ability with spirit of knowing how to resolve it. My job is to get you to line back up again. It's not that hard. You just have to awaken to how you think. Now, people will say, oh, well, just give me a card and do a pendulum reading about my future. There's nothing wrong with that. But all I have to do is look back at what you're picking up and put in your present moment, because you already, the variables above your head is that you have the quantum field of potential. All things are possible. A completely different answer can happen. But what did you write in stone? What unresolved emotion have you written in stone? So when I'm looking, Spirit will say, oh, look at all these beautiful things they can have in their future. But we have to say no, because they made a choice. There's the choice. But they're at a crossroads of growing. That means they can make what's unconscious conscious. And so what's uncompetent will become competent. But they haven't quite let go of or learned the lesson of or surrender to, and these are all very important. They're not, some of them are not what you think it is. And so it goes back into, it repeats. Why do you think the way I do the reading is because I follow you, the one that you're more likely to say, I'm just going to repeat. And then I can follow it all the way back to the age that you created, because it's in your entanglement cord. It's in your cord. It's in your timeline. And then all I have to tell you is like certain emotions, certain things. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, dang, yeah, that's it. And when your emotions are going nuts, your thoughts will go nuts. They're clouded by an old program or pattern or active memory. These are all a little bit different. This is what all you're going to learn when I start teaching the classes. But when this happens, you're like, well, I'm just caught up. I can't get ahead. And let me tell you, when that gallbladder meridian and that stomach meridian, which most of it's all in your head as far as the way the meridian energy runs, it will take you into high beta. What do I mean by high beta, people? You are at a brainwave. You're watching telly, okay? You're watching the TV. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're so tuned into that. You got blinders on. That all this is happening. Now, your soul recorder is recording everything. But your brainwave dropped from beta to alpha. And then if you get really lost, you can go right into theta. Now, theta is a great place for healing. So is alpha. But these are also the states where you want to use your intuition. And that is when you start drifting and your ego's busy and you're drifting in this true identity. You're swimming, you just don't know it. But if you're operating through the first, second, and third chakras about, fear, I have to survive this, then your first way of consciousness is that you're going to go right into your ego. And you're going to just kick your spirit to the side and say, nope. That's a big, big problem. Very big. My job is to help you to resolve the fact that you have all these fears, give you the confidence, give you the strength, give you that ability to evolve out of that first, second, and third chakras that have to do with the extreme of fear, impending doom, because that's all the world seems to be looking at. And the quantum law of attraction is that you have all these variables. You have, I still have my past shit I have to look at. But then with the quantum law of attraction, when your life is so chaotic, you're like, I just want it to make sense again. I just need to, I just want this to stop. That's insanity. And when you start to connect the dots, you're like, oh, damn, that makes a lot of sense in my world. Then all of a sudden you go from high beta to beta. So all of a sudden you're involving your heart space. Just a little bit more. You're involving more of your higher self, a little bit more. And then when you do the healing, hope therapy is an amazing thing. That just the fast tracks, that boom, that just is like, okay, I'm in this hell. I can't stop it. Hope therapy taps into those deeper levels of you, where those emotions and those meridians and those energies run. It gets into those programs. It gets into those patterns, and it gets to where you said yes to this. And it helps the soul evolve. You'll feel it physically change, because I'll ask you to witness. Amy, quickly, what does witness mean?
A witness means that you repeat what you've learned.
Why is that important?
And so that it actually sticks in your brain.
Correct. Just like I said before, if you don't do the work, then you're not going to keep the healing. And so I want you to witness so that you can say, and your brain says, hey, as I predict every day, I didn't predict this one, but look, we can repeat the same shit, or I see a difference. I felt like this. It was so horrible. I felt like this just a few minutes later. Wait, did that really happen? Your ego will say no. Your spirit will go, yes, claim it. Claim it. Because when you start to claim it and you start to aim for it and you start to heal your shit and you begin to learn to listen, this is why I record the things and send you the videos. So you can watch it again. And what happens, all of a sudden the brain goes, I don't always have to believe that program. I know I can always find the answer. That is what we want you to understand. Everything you need to know is in here. The healing tool, it's in here. Do you understand? It's in here. And I want you to be able to climb in and say, oh, shit, there's my answer. Instead of saying, running around. And there's a path. There's an actual golden path in front of you. That yellow brick road is in front of you. It's golden and it's glitter. And when they ask you to switch your path onto this, and if you're an ego, you're going to say, hell no. I like what I've got. At the same time, I hate what I have, but I'm grateful. You haven't woke up yet. And when you're asked to get onto that golden path, it's not torture and it's not a curse. It's a freaking blessing. But you have to let go of all the baggage and the hell that keeps you from behind. So the quantum law of attraction is that I'm helping you understand how to connect the dots, giving you a new language, look, different type of glossary, another way to think. You're looking at the mirrors of life and you're starting to own your shit. You're standing in the cause and effect of life instead of just being an effect. I'm helping you evolve the archetypes. I want you to succeed because you are me. Does this make sense? It's so important that you guys get this. Any questions, Amy, do you think that people might have? You know, because you're getting it now, but maybe there's something that I could clarify.
I can't think of anything, but
so if you got questions about what I just said before I go into the reads. Oh, good. Kayla, yes. Okay. And the thing is that you have to sometimes listen to it more than once. But if you listen, there are distinct words that repeat themselves. And as a lot of it has to get over your hump of how you thought you defined it. Oh, yes. And if you, Patricia says yes. And if you act out of love, your whole world changes. Everything from your thoughts, your behavior, your responses. Yes. Yes. And the thing is if we connect that heart again, but we have to connect it not to the ego, because ego is already messed with it and says, oh, put the wall up over the heart. And the heart's saying, but I just want to be able to process. No. We're going to suppress. We got to block. We got to do all that. And it's great that we protected our heart, but we didn't really protect it because now the physical body's starting to take a shit. It's just literally. And we want the physical body. We want the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual to come in balance. And it's when you live out of harmony, okay, you live unbalanced. And you're all spiritual and you're not doing anything physical. You're trying to screw yourself over on the physical life. And you're like, why is God doing this to me? And then guess what? God isn't doing it to you. The quantum law of potential. The quantum law of attraction is very simply healing your shit, making things make sense, getting into that alignment with your heart, your mind, and your gut. Connect to that higher self. And to witness, yes, it is that process. If you can't recognize it, then you can't graduate. I mean, Amy, do you know what I mean by that? When I say if you don't witness, you can't graduate?
Yes, because if you don't witness and you don't get it stuck in your head the way that it was taught to you, it'll just float away, and you won't. Your ego will start saying, "Oh, that's a bunch of hooey,
yep,
a bunch of bullshit,"
and it also start attracting minions. Do you know what I mean by minions?
Yes, I do. I have a lot of them.
What are minions?
Minions are people that, do your bidding per se.
How do we use them in Eco Land?
Yeah, in Ego Land. They are very much in Ego Land.
You know, when you're pissed off and you're like, okay, so here's the thing. When you're learning how to become a spiritual human and you're not quite there and you're human, you get all pissed off and you're like, oh my God, I mean, really, you're blaming, you're like, you son of a bitch, you did it to me. First of all, you've disconnected your heart. but your heart says, I'm in pain, so I have to follow it. So you are following your heart, but it's constricted. And then you're following ego, and then all you can think about is how that feeling, it's pulsating from you. And you know that at the outside did it. I mean, I would love to say that my ex-husband is an asshole. I'd love to say that it was all his fault, but it's not. He's my mirror. That ex was my mirror. That was all the shit I didn't resolve in my soul. But if he would take me off, I'd want to call my girlfriend. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And we talk because it's important to process. I'm not denying that. But when you don't own that, you will then start to get people to agree with you. But if you just nudge him, oh God, I wish somebody would fix his ass. Oh, I'll do it for you. You will? Oh, that means you love me. I'm exaggerating. But by God, things will happen. I had this happen. This woman, she misunderstood something was said. Instead of asking me about it, she went out and gathered 2 people, and then she had them attack me continuously. And I asked her, I said, so what was the point of this? And she told me, I said, really? I said, so blah, 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 blah. And you thought this, but it really is this. And she says, oh. And then she goes, well, why aren't you mad at me? I said, because you're learning. You know, so are we friends? We're not close friends. I'm not going to stick my hand back in the fire. She ruined that. Yes. My aspect of myself, I'm not able to trust that all the way. But I'm also know that I don't have to, and while I'm in this land of being human, I don't have to always trust everything when they're on that particular journey, because that's their soul. You know, they got to go that way. But she didn't tell the 2 people that she told me attack me to back down. She didn't correct it. So I healed them out of my life. And it was just something that, why? Because my soul says, oh, you got a little bit more to learn. But not right now. We got other stuff to do. So we're just going to let this go. And they didn't become my son. I didn't go and start evolving around them like a planet. And they are the only thing on the face of the earth that I can stare at. Well, 24/7, 365 days start to pass. Where did time go? Because I kept focusing on one freaking issue. When I say, you know, they're not my son, they're not. My life does not evolve around them. And I have to disconnect myself. I don't need to constantly see and get their approval or to see if they're right, because I consider the source. Now, there's tons of things we can talk about, but the point is that I want you to understand the quantum law of attraction is in your lap. It is in your hands. You get to choose what you get to vibrate with. Now, there are some things that something can kick your ass big time, but there are answers to get you out of it. If you are in fear, you're going to stay there. And yeah, okay, so here's the one thing. When you look at, this is the big question that everybody wants to understand. Okay, so there are stages of how you awaken, okay? If you have not really fully awakened, then everybody's an asshole. And you're the only one that's sane. As you begin to awaken, you start to realize, oh shit, I'm displaying some of those assholeness as myself. Now, maybe you're not. Now, here's the thing. I know as a soul, I raise my hand to be the enemy in somebody's world without even knowing it. Just bear with me. I've had people come up to me and, well, you pissed me off. And I'm thinking, what did I do? All they did was watch me walk by, and what I was wearing pissed them off. I was the bitch that wore that color that day, or I was born with that name. People, no one can show up to you any other way than you let them. And if your programs and your filters are in your face, then that happens. Now, if you happen to have to be married to somebody that really is an asshole, you have to go a little deeper. Abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse. You have missing notes. We are made of notes, A, B, C, D. We are made of those frequencies that is represented by color, not just sound. It shapes us. If you haven't known how to do it, take a speaker, put some sand on it, blast some music, and it starts showing you the pattern. You will then attract people to treat you this way until you own the fact, like C and D or C and B happen to be physical notes. If you're missing too much C and you're missing too much B, then you're going to attract somebody that's going to be overpowering and has a lot of C and B until you learn how to have self-esteem, have confidence, how to stand up for yourself, and how to get C and B up. And when you get those up, you actually kick those people out of your life without even realizing you're doing it, because you're building those notes up inside of you and balancing out your frequencies. All you are is energy. Are they really assholes? Yes. Because maybe that's what they're born to come in to do. Okay? When a person comes in with a certain personality trait, okay? The land of narcissism, okay? You're leaving this paradigm. We're finally waking up from this paradigm of narcissism. It's not about blaming. It's about shit. This is a paradigm that we fouled for so long that and as I was explaining to Ames, there's the true narcissist, okay? To the extreme. Then there's the other side that is very little. And that's what I call just the chicken pox narcissism, because it's like spread like a disease. And when you wander around, and if you guys understand the Bible, they talk about, they wander around in the desert for 40 years. It means that through generations, something will change. And the newer generations won't have that old generation thinking. So let's look at it this way. It takes a little longer than 40 years because it keeps getting bred into the family. Because when a child is born or inside the womb, that's all they know. That's what they become conditioned to. And then they grow up, and then you'll hit a stage of, oh my God, my parents were assholes. Because you're beginning to wake up from that era, because that's what your soul meant to do. And then you could be in a good parent, and then all of a sudden your kids wake up and say, oh my God, my parents were assholes. We got to break that paradigm too, because it's not what it seems. But we do that. We're always going to be someone's asshole in their life. Whether we intentionally do it, because that's what our belief system lies, or we are innocent bystanders not knowing that we're assholes. And our perspectives are meant to be so different from each other. That's why you can say, in respect, I respect the fact that you're different. But if there are some people that just can't respect the fact that you're different, you got to be like me. Those are assholes. Where are you on your scale of your evolution? That's up to you. The more assholes you attract in your space, the more you're agreeing to stay in that frequency. In that quantum law of attraction, you have got to decide, these freaking emotions are making these thoughts. And then I'm stuck in this personality. And here's the kicker. Your personality, and you think it's all good, creates your reality. But if your personality is that you overcome being a narcissist, but it's still inside the body, then you're a chickenpox narcissist, which means you could have flares up of, what do you get it? I forgot what the rash you get after chickenpox is done. Not everybody gets them, but some people get them, and it's really sore and painful. Can't remember what it's called. But what it means is that it's like a virus. It can affect some extreme, some not. I know that kids that have been abused have, what have I done now? As I say, as they're adults, and they've done nothing. But then all of a sudden they're like, but you don't love me. And yet they don't show any other really signs of the true narcissist. But the point is that it's like with any disease, through generations, it becomes a residue, and it shows up as a miasm, not the original. But you have symptoms that maybe or may not be the same, but the originality came from this point. And it shows up differently based on every part of you that has to move through your particular stage of growth. We are going shingles, that's what it's called. You are growing back back to God, which is you're evolving back to God. You're not doing any more involution. We're done with that. We are in a new timeline. And those that came to the meditation, you're on a new timeline. And it's time, and it's about that downloading of the love. And it's downloading of, I don't really want to follow that, my ego or my personality. It's not to look and say, oh my God, I get a bad personality and I can't let anybody see it. It is, do I really want to act that way? And it's difficult if you try to do it alone because you're trying to create something new with the old mindset. You can't create something new with the same old information. You have to get new information and then create something new with everything. Okay. Now, just to let you guys know, I'm going to be on vacation for a couple weeks. I may pop in, I may not. I don't know. I may come back and I don't know when I'll do the next show. Let's put it that way. But you can watch reruns. You can go and look on my fan page and watch reruns. There's a lot of old shows that you guys haven't seen yet. Go to YouTube. You can go and look on YouTube, and there's a lot of old shows that you haven't seen yet. You got support. And soon in January, you'll have a whole heap of things to be able to connect with, to support with, and to grow. Because you're ready to move. You're ready to awaken further. You're ready to get another piece of information to break the old paradigms. And that's what's very important. Okay, so now I got my timer, and we're going to see the paid ones.
Marianne wants to do private.
How is she paying for the private? Because this is meant to be public. I got to think about that one. So let's see here. So there's no paid readings except for Marianne's, and she wants it to do it private. What does that mean? All right, for those, it's $9 for 6 minutes if you want a reading or healing. Marianne, you need to talk to me a little bit. You said that you want it private. Now, if people are going to pay for their 12 minutes or their 6, the 6 minutes for $9, then that usually is offered only to the show, and that's the deal. That's where the special comes in. Now, as far as private, to some degree, you can email. You can email the question, and I don't have to read it out. I can answer certain things. As far as private, we don't have to do a phone call. All you have to do is say, you want it back and forth like this. That can be done. Because
forward it to you.
Because I can be very discreet of what I say. Wouldn't you think I'm discreet about what I say? Because people have had...
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Because people can have physical issues, and I won't tell you what it is, but I'll tell you what caused it or how to heal it. All right, you said you just forwarded something to me. All right,
yeah,
it hasn't come
out how this is new.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, hello, LaRhonda. Oh, thank you. Patricia says, yes, you are discreet. I do my best to not say any names or any of that or any physical issues. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. She says, I am 100% discreet. Yeah, I do my best to keep your privacy the best I can. You know, I have to sometimes mute the spirit. She said, okay. So I just have to wait to see what was said so that I can read it. And
it's coming.
Okay, so after we decide what we're doing with Marianne, we'll be uplifting tarot and Reiki. And we'll see what to do with that. Oh, what I am doing, people, it's going to be another couple weeks before I do any more, but I'm trying to break down all the videos so that the Spirit Speaks can be separate, and then the paid readings are separate, and the 1 minute free reading are separate. So a part of me is like putting up there, like maybe just the first name, nothing else, and putting a timestamp, or I may or may not do that. If that's too much work, it depends on what's going on. So people can go back, and you always have your reads there, and it's separate.
Okay, I sent it to Be Power.
Ah, there we go. Oh, God. You know what? That's what my daughter's issue is. And when that happens, she calls me all the time. And I'll say, okay, here, hold. Take care of it. Thanks, Mom. She can go to sleep. Okay, so the thing is that we do attract crap in our space when we fear for things. And I'm just going to tell you how my daughter, for instance, does certain things. Pictures. I will refuse. I will refuse to watch certain TV shows, movies, even the frickin' news. I can never understand why my ex would be so cruel to me. Oh, thinks it's so funny. Here. And he'll deliberately put on something scary. And he's like, you're frightened of it. I says, it's not about being frightened. It's about the pictures. It's about the emotions. It's about the thoughts. It's about the shit that comes into your space. I had my first teacher. I used to be a gamer. And I would play and we'd beat up monsters and blah, blah, blah. And my first teacher would always say to me, you really have to be careful of those thoughts you have in your head. And you have to really be very diligent if you're going to be a healer to decide if that's what you want to create on this planet. And I could never understand what she was talking about. And one night I started to dream what I was playing. Oh, that frightened me. But then Spirit taught me that there are things that our pictures will be attached to that is unreal and things that have really happened. But when that happens, it can mess with your brain. And I just recently had to heal my little self of something very scary, because my mother used to watch Amityville horror or scary ass movies. It would piss me off tremendously. As a kid, you couldn't run. I lived in a trailer, and no matter where the sound is, there were pictures. And your imagination, if you're creating it with your right eye, it's disgusting. I would always think that somebody was going to come break down my door. I even got up one night in the middle of the night, ran downstairs, kept looking out the bathroom window, saying, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. My mind went right into high beta. My fear and everything took over. My ego was... And then as I'm standing there looking out the window, I could actually hear my spirit, and they go, what are you doing? Why are you believing in that? And I thought, what? Because it's there. Spirit says, it's not real. I says, how do you know? And I started arguing with Spirit. And then I went, and I didn't have the tools I have now, but I had few. So I did timeline therapy on them. And there was another one I had. And all of a sudden the pictures disappeared. And I said, well, where did it go? You stop believing in it. Doesn't mean it's not real. The picture is not real. It's somewhere in the land out there, but you're not attached to it. You're not giving it power. You're not deciding it can happen to you. And I said, what? And then when I reviewed the fact that I was scared crapless that somebody was going to break my house, and what led up to that was that this woman threatened to take my kids, and I was alone, and so I had to go get a shotgun because she told me she was going to come kill me. And she kept telling me this, but it was a threat. And I even hid in the cup. We had the Harry Potter where they hide under the basement stairs. I even hid there. And it's like, I'm so scared crapless. It was just unbelievable. And Spirit says, you're giving your power away. And it was all about giving your power away. And the reason that I'm not doing her reading yet is because I need my daughter's pictures in my head all the time, because I know she just emailed me and says to me, Mom, I watched a scary movie again. I'm like, stop it. But she does this to herself. She knows. So I know that I have to take care of this because she's going to be going to bed soon. But what I want you guys to understand is it's so important. Spirit wants you to understand that you are exposing yourself to things. And if you are letting your ego and not your authentic self run the show, you're in the world of hurt because you're not connected to your joys. Oh, that reminds me, I want you guys that were in meditation, I hope you read about the joys and are starting to do the video. You need to connect up to those joy energies so they can pull you out of your fears. And my daughter, I love her to pieces. And I says, I don't know why you do that to yourself. She goes, it's fun. And I'm like, well, I didn't. And I didn't see that as a kid as a fun, because I just was told, go to bed. Oh, you have a nightmare? Too bad. Go to bed. That's the problem. Okay, so now Spirit says get back on track. Okay, so when your emotions affect your physical, when your emotions affect your thoughts, and when your emotions affect things, and because I was talking about the law of attraction, you don't have to really, this is where it gets tricky, because if you're crying and you're emotional, you will attract vibrations to support that, so you can have proof that your shit's real. And anytime I help people, it is to go in and take the emotion, help your brain dissolve the emotion that's tied to what's attracting the shit in. So we take the emotion out. And what happens is the magnetism then drops. We then have to take the thought pattern, which are tied to pictures in your sensory system. And then I do sensory accessing healing so that it drops. And then anything that you have attracted to you has to go out. And then you are made of your physical body. That's why I have you do Connecting Heaven and Earth, Celtic Weave, Wayne Cook balancing, and a hookup, just to name a few, that takes your power back and balances. But to take your true power back is to heal it so that all the triggers, so you don't respond that way. And the best way to do that is notice how you see it. Notice how you are attacked. Notice how you identify. So when it comes to a person that feels like emotions seem to get the best of them, and you're like, okay, I've used the tool, like Amy will say, oh, I've rubbed this, I've tapped this, I've done EFT, but how come I ain't going away? Well, sometimes you need to understand the personal reason to help connect the dots. Now, Marianne has the ability to know, she witnessed that, hey, there is a difference, but I have this issue that seems to be in my face. I can't seem to understand why it's in my face, and why does it seem like it's not going away? Okay. And this is where you're made of energy, and it'll feel lofty to you. And the way that you track things, let's just find out a little bit more. I need pen. What do I need, Amy? Pendulum. I have only a bunch of them. Okay. I'm going to set the timer. And is that all you want to talk about? Yeah, my daughter's in the back of my mind right now, but hey. So I'm just sending angels help. All right. So when I look at Marianne's, it's okay. I'm double checking and cleaning your energy field and seeing what it is. So that you're going through of the triangle energy. And as I'm looking down, it looks like you have a power of suggestion that you had to yourself. A power of suggestion. The best way to tell you about this is that you've told yourself something. My mother had cancer, and she was doing her best every day. And then the more she was sad, the more she seemed to be worse. And I did my damnedest every day to make her happy in some form. I realized happiness is an inside job, but I still did my best. And so everything was good, and her everything was, the numbers are up and all that. And then a nurse was checking on her, and then she's like, well, her heart rate is fast. And of course, this woman hated me right from the beginning. And she says, well, what are you doing? And I says, well, I gave her some herbs and stuff. Oh, no, you can't do that. That is not right. You are not this. You cannot help her. And I says, but I'm also giving her food. No. And I was buying her healthy food. And this woman was telling me that I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be giving her herbs. I shouldn't be, she's dying. That's it. And I'm like, why are you taking all her hope away? Then we lived in a tiny trailer. Then this woman says to me, she'll be dead in 30 days anyway, so I don't know why you're even trying. I was so stunned. And immediately Spirit said, your mom heard. I kicked that woman and I said, I don't want you anywhere near my mother. I went in, I tried talking to my mother. And I knew she heard, but she wouldn't talk about it. She died 30 days exactly to when that woman said it. Now, here's an interesting thing. The power of suggestion. I know I must have been hypnotized to some degree that had to do simply with this. As soon as the bell rings, and a certain bell has to be a certain tone, I will forget the number 4. And I've never been hypnotized except for I watched something on TV. But there's a part of me that believed it. It's in the power of the belief, the acceptance, the belief, and the giving of the willpower that makes things so. The other thing is that if you are naive and you are growing out of the involution that your soul is in, then it's your personality. You have to find somewhere in your personality that will take you and is taking you in from not seeing what you really need to see. Because when you begin to get into your authentic self and you begin to understand why, in some cases, why did God do this to me? But if you begin to understand that mirror, you realize, oh my God, it's not what we think it is. But the power of suggestion is what they told me. The power of suggestion, they said that you had toward yourself. It's like you said to yourself, I'm bad. There's something to do with the power of suggestion we need to clear out because it causes you to become very greatly discouraged. There's an auto response. I'll say, okay, when did this power of suggestion that you said to yourself, did you say it to yourself? See, because it can come from outside, but in this case, she did it to herself. All I keep hearing without doing anymore is that I'm not good enough. And I asked when was, and it was 1. And therefore, was there a twisted? No. This was, what? Interesting, because at 1 year old, it's like I have to prove that I am bad so they are correct. It's like you believed. Okay, so this is where you have to consider the source. I loved my ex, and I thought he was the greatest man in the world, and he was trying to tell me how to do business. He was trying to tell me how to do this. He was trying to tell me how to do this. And I believed him, and yet it was wrong advice. And Spirit one day says to me, consider the source. Why are you going to somebody? Okay, you're female. Why are you asking him how to change a tampon? You know, that's not what I asked. But do you understand what I'm asking now, or what I'm saying? And why would you go to a poor man to become a millionaire? I mean, why are you allowing your enemies to tell you things? Why are you allowing your enemies to tell you things and you believe them as true? It's an old paradigm. And when I heard that last one, I about flipped, because this woman that tried to take my kids, I did. I 100% believe she was correct and true. Why would my brain do that? And it's because she was a character from my past. So you know how you got in a movie, you have different actors? This woman was representing somebody from my past. And I asked who, and believe it or not, it went into my sister and my father. And it hit me that I loved and I believed my sister and my father. I was shocked because I never thought to consider the source. I couldn't see past my filter that of her personality and her behavior was exactly like the one I grew up. That's why I attracted her in my space. I attracted her in my space because it was somebody that had the same signature as those so long ago. Now I'm looking, and at 1 year old, I'm looking, it says that that's where you watch people's habits. And they are supposed to abuse themselves. So somebody in your life, you've seen how, they have to abuse themselves. And they were repulsed. They were repulsed because of pain that they stored in their body. So they always thought that they're bad, they're not good enough, they're a bad influence. So take a look. Is there somebody in your space that acted that way? Did they have that same mannerisms? Were you conditioned to watch this? In this lofty energy, when you grew up, did you have somebody that had their lofty energy? That was scary. That their lofty energy somehow overpowered yours, and you would have to take the back seat. They were really good at wounding pride. Whoever it was wounded somebody's pride, their ego, just so they can get the upper hand. Worthless. It's a natural thing that you're supposed to grow up and be proud of yourself. No, your natural thing was I was supposed to grow up and feel worthless, because that's my order of the way my life is. Now, I feel like you've been with somebody that has made you feel good. But now your past is saying it's unresolved, and it's time to resolve this. It's time to resolve the unresolved. And that's why it's come up. Why has it been so quiet and dormant? Because your soul says it wanted a reprieve from this. Poor Ames has to deal with it from the day she was born, and it's her whole life's been sculpted around it. And for you had a reprieve. Now it's kicking in because it's time. Your soul says that we need to resolve this. And it's and the energy of whatever it is always telling you have to live their way. This is the way you got to live. This is the way you got to live. And they're telling me that the reason why you feel it now is because 1 year old, something scary happened so much that they had this energy to make you feel like they were in charge, and they can get inside your head and they can make you feel a certain way, and that's the way it is. And so toward yourself, you made yourself have an auto response that you were repulsed by people like that. And then when you became 34, you started to feel those types of people in your space. The program had kicked in. And now your body also kicked in. When was this? In 34, was to taking action. Okay, there's a reaction, but there's an action. It's an action. It's like you got to go. It's an action. You always got to take action. So if 1 year old, did you take an action to stop or prevent? To stop the broadcast. Okay, so now spirits tell me this. At 7 years old, I was molested. Those thoughts, those feelings, those sensations on my body were like, they were heavy. They wouldn't stop. Every 2 seconds. We have 41 thoughts per minute. Every one of those damn 41 thoughts were on what happened to me, how I couldn't make it stop, any of this. 41 thoughts per minute. That's 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And the reason there's such a big gap is because if you're high beta and you're constantly doing it faster, you can feel like you have more than 41 thoughts per minute. I couldn't stop it. What can I do? And when that happened, you have to learn to overcome. You have to shut it off. You have to repress it. You don't have tools. That's why I teach parents today to help the kids learn this, help kids learn this. And if it gets too much, then we set up an appointment and then I have them do hope therapy. I threw mine out. I threw it out. And now jump ahead to 32, I think. And all of a sudden we're driving by where I threw it out and it just rushed right back. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm a grown up. I feel different. But I also remembered what happened to some degree. And because of that, I had more of a handle. But there are some people that don't remember what happens because that's how much it scared you. And as it tries to creep back up, you're only going to see little bits of it through a person, through a signature, through unseen stuff. Because when you don't understand what you're doing, it'll feel unseen. It'll come out of freaking nowhere. Now, you can heal all that. It's just going to take some time. Something occurred. You took action to shut it off. You took action to it must have been my fault. You took the blame. But the day you awoken, I believe, to the whole thing was when you were at work. And your response then was the exact action response you took as a 1-year-old. And then and the reaction response is, yeah, I don't accept this reality. I reject it. And this is your brain not catching up with reality that was happening. So by not accepting it, sometimes you've changed your circumstances. And I think that's what you did again. But there was a price to pay. It had to come out somewhere. Your soul is asking you to remember something and to heal something and to take back the power. We don't know what it is, so we label that it's something outside of us, and it can be something that can be scary. Something from a scary movie, something from, and our brain will say, oh, that's what it is, because it makes the next logical step. That's what it is. But is it really that? Now, I've checked you. It's not that. You've created a second voice to save you at the time. You created a part of yourself that says, I can handle this, but it had to handle it separately. Now there's parts of your soul that says, I need to call back my energy to be whole again. And in order to call these pieces back, you have to resolve the thing that's affecting you. And again, emotions and thoughts. Emotions are magnetic, thoughts are electric, and they create form. And when you have your accepted and you put your belief and you put your willpower to it and you create this, it feels like a really nasty container. But the more you believe this outside thing, the more you'll keep it. But I know that when you start to heal, because I've watched you shift, and you have the whole family on the other side that says you can do this, and they believe in you, it can shift. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't confuse you guys because, like I said, my daughter keeps buzzing me. Okay, so people that are new, take a look down below or up above. And if you're really serious about wanting to talk to people, you can have a 1 minute free read, but you have to email me. That's why I know you're serious. During that 1 minute free read, you can ask for a healing, direct energy healing. You can ask me to talk to dead. You write the question, and then I'll do my best to answer it in 1 minute. All right, Marianne, I believe in you. I really do. And if you want a paid reading, it's only $9 for 6 minutes, and then we can do it that way. Next person on my list is, where'd she go? Uplifting Tarot and Reiki. And I don't see her question. Did she email you? It'd be, is it Kayla? Oh, there she is. Never mind. I got it. I would love a healing reading around taking aligned action and moving through the fear of overwhelm. Oh, good one. Yeah, as soon as you said the word overwhelm, it's like energy went right down my throat. Weird. I have to look at this because they're really making it. Okay, this is going to sound strange, but you're all going to hear it. If you wanted some bad shit to happen, you would take the essence and you can do something nasty and you would then feed it to yourself. Every time you make and cook supper and you're putting negative energy into it, you are eating something that's supposedly healthy. But if you're sitting there thinking and stewing on, God, I hate this, you putting in not love, and then you eat it and your body says, oh, I disagree with this food. And you say, oh, it's the food's fault. And it's not the food. So, Kayla, if you're taking and you have overwhelm and your body's doing it, because I can feel something quite continuously doing something. And I don't think you realize, but when you're cooking or you're doing something, you're putting overwhelm in it. And then you're reinforcing yourself again. Does that make sense? When, let's see. Okay, so my physical body now is like, very unhappy right now. So you're meeting up with your arrested development. All right, so if I ask Spirit, where's her arrested development? You have a big one at 27. I don't know how old you are, but there's a big one, the arrested development. And can you tell me a little bit more for that? You felt something so scary that at 11. Okay, so with this new energy that's on this planet, there will be meridians that will hold itself into place. Like my triple warmer will kick in and it'll affect my heart. And then I can hear my heartbeat, but I can also feel how it affects the immune system. And then I can hear it affecting my breathing. That's a lock. It's a locked unit. And you can unlock those units, but those units that are locked are what's called sometimes the mothership. They've been around for a long time. So in your locked unit, you got 4 meridians. The first one is the large intestine. And that's about you have to make yourself irrelevant because you don't want anybody to see you. The second one is the gallbladder. Again, irrelevant. Your stomach, irrelevant. And your small intestine is irrelevant. Oh, so you have 4. That's about irrelevancy. And you've had to make yourself irrelevant. Why? Because it's a habit. Why? Because I have pictures that when I was paid attention to, when you were born, you felt fully exposed. You could feel the energy of some people. Something about not being wanted, but I don't think it was aimed at you. I think it was aimed at another child, but you took it on as your reality. And you felt it. You felt that resonating energy. You felt their ego. You felt their ego towards you. And it made it so that it's hard to be compatible with certain people. Now you're an adult, you want to be compatible with everybody because that's your, that's your nature, that's your business, your nature. But you say to yourself, I can't be me around certain people. And so your body goes into this overwhelm. How would you want her to address it? And because it's a locked unit, this is something that you'll have to think about. You'll have to hold R2S, right wrist, second position, soft. And you're going to hold that to the point of just, you have to, this unit of being irrelevant, you need to define. Oh, she says, yep, to all this. You need to define irrelevancy, feeling exposed, everything I just said, feeling exposed. You need to go into the idea of feeling the overwhelm because these emotions are connected to irrelevancy. If I look a little deeper, large intestine is about being invalid. Your gallbladder is about injustice. And your small intestine is, I'm giving up. And if we can unlock this part of you that has to do with irrelevancy, then hopefully that your meridians will unlock, your body will stop doing that physiology of overwhelm. But this so a lot. If you know exactly, always take your latest overwhelm, because that'll be your freshest experience that will help you into releasing, if that makes any sense. Feel and notice your pride. You can be proud of your work, but if your ego tells you that you're not supposed to because it's wrong, then you have to undo the education of what's right and wrong. If somebody did it to hurt you because they don't want to see you be successful just because that's their nature, and assholes, then what happens is that you will go into your overwhelm because you can feel it coming and you know that that's who you're attracting in. You're going to have to chunk it away, or you're going to have to make an appointment with me and we'll start chunking away together. No, Ken, you haven't gotten your message yet because it's after the expedites and then the free read. So remember, yours is always going to be like towards the end, Ken, unless you paid for a reading. Okay, so the next person says Amy. Amy, did you want to do yours now or do you want to do it later? Because there's also Helen after that. Helena?
Oh, you can do me later.
Okay. So Helena Stephanopoulos. All right. So Helena. So just waiting for Helena to pop up. And then we'll go from there. Okay, my daughter said she's not doing too bad. That's good. She's finally learning how to do some of the work herself. There you are.
I can't watch scary movies.
All right, what did you want to talk about, Elaine? Well, thank you, Kayla. I appreciate that. Mostly right shoulder pain is bad. Okay. Okay, so it's locked issue today. All right. Now, pay attention. This is your right shoulder. And then I'm going to ask, bring it on. Bladder and triple warmer. The bladder is doing, okay, so what's the story? Self-justification, but okay. So if you had to put yourself in a situation where all of a sudden you had to self-justify, I have to explain myself and I have to do this, okay? The reason I say that is because if you understand the bladder meridian, it comes up and around, or it comes down in your whole spine. Now, it's very important to understand the triple wormhole will always go off and can cause great amount of issues. Her issue, this is why when people start to lift weights or they start to use the arm too much or whatever, you can have shoulder issues. And you got to take the burden of life onto your shoulders, but you are also, in this case, you've had to do self-justification. You had to justify who you are. This is your triple warmer. When it goes up, it goes through the shoulder. Most generally, you're going to have extreme amount of pain if you have not addressed why. In your case, your why is to do with having to be self-justified. If I asked a little bit more, they said it had to do with you wanted to avoid. What did you want to avoid? Good or bad? Not too much. You just don't want to be accused. I mean, is this true so far? Some people get very hysterical and make you feel bad for some of your choices. Is that true? You really need to dive into that. Some people use charm as a way to be negative. Do you have a person in your life that loves you but criticizes you in some form? Well, I wouldn't have done it that way. Good. She says, yes, I always feel I have to explain myself. Okay. Notice that your body, if you have to feel like that's happening, whoever's in your space, your body is going, I just want to avoid. Okay. I don't want to reach out. I don't want to take on the burden anymore. Your body is saying, okay, day, 10 years later, 12 years, whatever, the day, here we go again. And it's now at the point where it's created an intolerance. I no longer can tolerate having to create. Okay, so the parents are like that. I done, enough's enough. And you've maybe moved out of the arena of these people, but then you've created somebody else to do it in another situation. And your body's going, oh, hell no, we're not doing this again. Do you see what you're doing? I don't want to do this again. And so then the body will start to deteriorate because you're doing a, how magnets are. This here is compatibility. And when you are not compatible anymore, it'll start to pull away. And then a positive 10 can go into a negative 10. And when it starts to go from a positive 10 down to a positive 6, you have like some symptoms. But when it really gets into the negative, your body starts taking a hit like hell. And this is where you have intolerance and sensitivity to allergies. And your body will start attacking you, but it's not attacking you. Your body's like, I got to attack that. And it may be nothing in your environment, but something that you're used to having where people attack you. So your body's attacking. And what is it attacking? It's attacking you. That's where you're going to find a lot of autoimmunes, if this makes any sense. But what we have to help you do is to help you stop being in repulse and get you back to compatibility. But we have to help you change that part of your personality that magnetizes and says, that soul says you got to heal this issue. So you literally need to heal the issue of why you would have to take it personal, why you're doing this, why you're falling for this, why it keeps repeating. Why? Because once you start to heal all of this, these people can do their thing and it no longer affects you. You no longer accept, believe, and lose your willpower. Okay? She says it makes sense. And the best way to do that, I would say, is to have a one-on-one because these are deep. But you are an object to these people, and your body is saying, I am so effing done. Because your body, even if your brain has accepted this, oh, I'll give them one more time because I love them. Your body's going, oh, hell no, please, we're going to get attacked. And its main job is to protect you. And your ability to find your voice and make your choice, that's part of your lesson. But yet it all is doing is that it's putting you back into the same position because you can't seem to make your choice within that. And that's where you would need to heal and to grow. I'm going to say EFT. And if you did do any hope therapy, would be L1D. Because you can find that on my website. Understand what it is. The points, it's something I would have to direct you with. But L1D is left wrist, first position, nice and deep. And it's all you need to know is push your finger in deep and do this and think about, oh my God, this is what makes sense. Put it on a scale from 0 to 10. Keep your hand there until it gets down to 0. Even look at the color, and eventually it'll become clear or white. Next person. So there's no more paid. Amy, I'm going to take you afterwards, if you don't mind. And Amy, are they ready for the 1-minute reads?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the reason that she gets special treatment is because we have a meeting. We work together. She doesn't have to pay me, but she's honored me. So that's a whole different story, just so that she knows that she's a special case.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too. Okay, so now the 1 minute, and that is Amy's going to holler out or say your name in the group. You're welcome, Elaine. So pay attention to the chat room, and okay, and then Amy's going to also write down the time stamp so we can put it up. So Amy, who's the first person?
Okay, the first person is Marianne Miller.
Marianne Miller.
Marianne, and just for her higher good.
Gotcha. Since Marianne, you worked with me, let's do this. L3S, and it's about having to diminish your character and make yourself feel small, because that's how your 1-year-old felt. And your 1-year-old said it wants to be addressed and to be healed. So you're going to hold L3S, left wrist, third position, down here. Do it, okay? Hold it soft. Notice how you have to take action. You have to take action. You have to take action to become small. And they said that this is such a thing that you've had to do, and that you constantly feeling attacked because you have to take action. So tell me about the attacked. You're meeting up with the arrested development. So it's the things that you stopped your growth. And so in order to really to change your growth is you have to change the habit that stops you from being able to grow. So your growth has been stunted. Okay, so Lenore is next. And did she write anything in particular, Miss Aim?
A present reading, please. Anything I need to know.
Gotcha.
Thanking you. Love you, Lenny.
Thank you. All right, Miss Lenore, ready? Oh, it's interesting because there's something to do with a bad memory, and there's something that happened to you at 2. The bad memory, all of a sudden I'm getting yelled at. I mean, and it literally feels like it came in and washed down me like hot tar. That's how much you received this energy. And you got very confused because in one way you would get praise and punishment, but you would always feel that you didn't do exactly, then you would get this hot tar. So you learned with action. If I behave this way, this will happen. If I just go with it. It's like when my son said to my daughter right in front of me, oh, just go with what mom says and everything will be fine. I says, that's not what I want you to respect me. But I'm not, I don't believe in punishment, but at the same time, I want you to, and it's like, how do you explain that to your children? He just said, she'll shut up if you, and so what's happening for you is that you can't figure something out because you're ready to move forward, but your triple warmer is saying, I can't figure it out. So you're going to hold R3S. Ursula's next. What's her question?
Just wants a reading.
Okay, gotcha. Ursula, we're going to go into So there's like abnormal, inappropriate laughing or inappropriate action. It's your heart had to protect itself. And the heart says, so I'm asking, when did your heart feel like you had to do that? And it was at 3 years old. And it's a habit now. And that literally causes you to become stubborn with yourself as far as to letting yourself move, to do what you need to do, because it says that you put yourself into an indifference feeling, then it takes away your motivation, focus. Because it's like wrong if you try to focus and motivate for what Ursula wants versus what somebody else wants. And so you're breaking away from that paradigm, but you're not quite knowing that how to do it. So your heart's saying, I, and that's what it's doing. I. So pay attention to how you do things around certain people. If you laugh inappropriately, or if you get the heart is such an interesting area because it doesn't know exactly how to really speak. Okay, next person is Ken, right?
Ken, yes.
Anything?
Will I have biological kids? If so, what age will I be? Thank you.
All right. Well, that's kind of hard to do. He asked if he or if he's going to have biological kids.
Will I have biological kids?
Okay. So this is where it gets to, because you're asking about a pattern. And, all right, will you have biological kids? Will you have, you know the word, you know what you want. In perfect timing, you will. But so far, nothing's aligned right. Right now, it's a hit and miss. And they're saying that there's opportunities, but somehow they get missed. And I say, well, what's stopping stopping you for having that perfect opportunity? And they said there's a panic. This panic is when you came about when you were 12 years old. And they said that whatever the issue was, you made yourself feel like panic. You also made yourself feel like shit. So stepping up to being the dad that you want to be, or being up to, letting your sperm create a baby was, oh my God, I feel awkward. And your body then says, oh, and does self-loathing and hatred. I hope you can follow along that line, because I'm not going to tell you what I saw, but it's something that you might have done and you misunderstood it. Okay, that was Ken's question. Timestamp of that one, I have no idea. 121.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny, let's see. Danny is next.
All right.
Really working through the rest of the gate opening. But I struggled last night to heal myself. Gosh, I can't read. I'm gonna have to do wing cut. What are some things I can work on to heal in my meditation?
Okay. Okay, so the meditation is not the problem. Energy is there, it's lined up, it's streaming through. And the particular issue is your body says it feels very uncomfortable. And as I'm looking at why that's happening, and they said that there's an indecision and you can't figure something out. So your body keeps literally trying to figure something out, per se. And I need, it goes into overtime hopelessness. So you've been trying to solve something, and it's been coming up with the same answer of, you just got to the point where it's overtime hopelessness. So it keeps repeating. And if I asked what it is, they said hold L1S, because it is looking for acknowledgement, and it's not going to happen because there's something that you had to, you're trying to get it from one person or one thing. They said hold R1S because there's lack. You feel like you lack. There's a type. Ooh, I lacked. Okay, so you have L1S and R1S. Next person. Elaine. Okay, anything in particular?
Nope.
Okay. So Elaine, my dear, who's jealous? I feel a jealousy issue. It's like real quick. Oh, jealous. It's like, it just came up. And then there's worry, jealous and worry. But But then there's like an overcompensated. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should do this. Okay, let me explain why I've done this. And it's just this. Is this linked back to? Yes, it's linked back to what we said earlier. Oh, interesting. It goes back to the heart. The heart says, "I can't." What does it say? I can't be confident. It's like no matter. Oh, I get it. Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, this happens to people when they really feel good about themselves. They know they've done something really great. And then they have somebody that's in their life that does what they do to them. And then you have to condemn yourself and you have to go into old pattern. It's a very, okay, let's look at it this way. If my mother was alive, I remember when I had moved out and had a life, and then I moved back home because I was getting a divorce. I walked back in that house. Now, I've walked back in that house before, not a big issue. Okay. But you automatically go back to the ages that you were. I went back to when I was like 12. Like, wait, what? And then I went back to when I had to take care of my mother, which was 18. And I was like, I was doing certain personalities and behaviors around this person. Now, when I went back to visit, I didn't have that. Some people automatically, you be in their space, you go into cat and mouse, the dog. Why am I saying animals? Because it's all about fighting. It's all about always going back to a program. You have to go back into, this is the relationship that they expect, not what you're trying to become. So the more you try to become, the more you're pulled back into saying, it's, anyways, anybody else? And so
Patricia Benson.
Patricia. Any question in particular?
No, blank email.
All righty. Patricia, my love. I see a lot of pink and orange. I don't know if that's the color of your shirt or whatever it is, but they're saying that you have, wow, why are they showing me color and saying habitual fear? Tell me more. Very awkward. Panic. You have pictures. You have pictures in your head. You have pictures in your head that you have to take in action. And it's like, it's your dogma every day. It's your everyday. This is how you're supposed to show up. This is your body says, oh, fuck, I don't want to do this today. And you're like, yes, we do. We have to. Let's put on a bright shirt and smile and play our part. And that's what I feel. I just feel like you don't, your body says, I don't want this life. If that makes any sense. Anybody else?
Crystal Lynn.
Crystal Allen? Is that what you said?
Crystal Lynn. Ellen, yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
anything she needs to know.
What's that?
Anything she needs to know.
Okay, Crystal. You've been waiting patiently, and your timestamp is 1:27. Your energy of being going up and down. Your life seems to be good to some degree, but you have this energy that goes up and it goes down. And then one day it's up and the next minute it's down. And they're saying that your body is living a reaction. It's not even about an active memory, but it's like 14. All right. So part of your brain, you know that you've had issues because of the men that treated you so badly. And your body is saying it wants you to remember something that happened when it was 14. And it's when you thought you were actually important and it felt good and you were treated like with respect. They said that your body is ready to move out of that state of always being an object and being abusive, being abused. They want you to feel the importance about you. They want you to remember that you were important at one time and that you were beautiful and all of this. And not to say you're not beautiful now, but they're saying that you could receive love and you could do this before all this other stuff happened. There was a memory, and that's very important for the brain, that it could predict that you can have it again. Okay.
Rachel.
Okay.
Is there anything Spirit thinks I should know right now, please?
All right. Shut up and listen. I think that's what somebody keeps telling you, whether it's you or whoever, but I feel like it's a command. It's an instruction of when you were younger. And the thing was, is that just shut up and listen. I don't know if these are the words that, but you took it as a command. Now you're an adult. And the point is that you shut up and listen so you can't hear yourself. The problem with that is you rejected something out of your reality. So whatever happened, if you give me a age, 3 years old, did you reject something out of your reality at that age? Yes. Shut up and listen is what I should have done, and that bad thing wouldn't have happened. Do you know what they're referring to? Does that make any sense? Does it make any sense to you? Because they said that if I would just listened, if I just done it their way, then everything had been fine. So that your body is repeating a particular thing and it has contempt. So the emotion of contempt seems to be stuck. So Lillian, what you want?
I have to get back to it.
So Lillian, such a pretty
Would
name.
love a message on my sister that I haven't seen or I haven't talked to in 3 years.
And she wants a message about the sister?
Love a message on a sister that I have not talked to for 3 years.
So that must mean she's alive?
That's the way I take it.
Okay, so as I'm looking on the grid, she has shut down. So I'm not going to get anything from her except for a mirror, but the guides that she shut down, that she's going through something that is, she's like rejected something out of reality. Yeah, this is not the way it is. Da, 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 da. So she's living in some type of trying to create her own reality of this is the way I want it to be, regardless of what's being shown. She has a lot of distrust that's going on, and she feels bad about something, but she contracts her energy quite a bit. But what they said was that her action is that you'll never see it. So even if you tried talking to her, you'll never see it. What's interesting is I can't see it in my eyes now. This whole thing in front of me is just blur. So if you're not going to want to face reality, or you're not going to want to face something, yeah, see, there it is. So she doesn't want to face something because of my eyes. Interesting enough, I just before it shows that, yeah, everything's good. It's not about you or anything like that. I feel like there's a love line there, but it's like, it's just, you know, people living their life. It may not have been the reading you wanted, but that's what we got. That's what we got. Somebody's paid. Let me look. And so I'll have to hold off on the 1 minute readings. As how many are left?
Just 2 so far.
Okay. So let me answer those 2, and then I will come back to Kelly that's paid. So because it only takes
Kelly's one of them.
Okay,
and
so
then,
I can add her minute to her other thing, and then who's the other one?
Okay, and Lori M.
Lori M. We're going to take. Go ahead.
Can you tell me where I am blocked? Will I be able to go? Will I be able to let go of the past anytime soon? Thank you.
Okay. So there's something about wanting to let go of the past. So tell or give me whatever. You have some anxiety that keeps holding you to think you can't let go of the past. Now, does this have to do with a locked unit? No. This has to do with something that happened at 3, and it was resonating broadcast. You were supposed to do as you're told. And as I'm looking, I see that it's about you have to change who your character is so that you can fit into this world that was created. And now you've created that out of habit. And so you want to let go of that. Now, is that the block? Yes. And you want to let go of that? Yes. How would you let go of it? And that is, notice that whatever that was, you were irrelevant. You had to toe the line. You were irrelevant. Why do I got ballerina shoes? Something about ballerina shoes. You better be on your toes. Maybe that's the idea of ballerina shoes. I'm going to give you the ballerina shoes. Okay. So we're going to go to the paid reading. Kelly, she said she emailed you. What did she write?
Working through childhood trauma. Carried something. I can't read the rest of it. Let's see. Carried into adulthood, 59 now. Is there something from my past lives that is holding back, or just this life? Having an extremely difficult time with this. I want change.
Okay. Oh. You know what she's referring to? You're stuck in an action state. Your body's very tired at this point, but your frequency is completely off. Which letter? F. Okay, tell me why. Really? Okay, so we have the mental, emotional, and physical, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Your spiritual body says that you've been trying to resolve this for such a long time. And I'm asking, what is it you want to resolve? And it seems to be that you're incompatible with something. And every time you expand your energy out, the frequency and the habit of what you know is what creeps up. They says when you look at this, you contracted your energy, and you contracted it so well that it created a physical pain in the body, or it stored itself as pain in the body. And it may not be pain as an ow ow. It can be a dull ache. It can be misery. It can feel like depression. This is what I feel. And they said that every time you go to contemplate it through, thinking about it, you do it through the ego mind, which then drives it deeper into that part of the brain so that it makes it harder to let go of. They're saying if you're going to think about it, use a tool. That way you don't have to be stuck in a particular pattern. They said because the more that you think about it in ego, the more it drives in the brain, the more it creates an overwhelm, which then creates a panic. And then your body does this whole, like right now, the spleen is just aching like hell. You literally have created a phobia. Okay. Do you want to just keep talking? Okay. So in the idea of listening, notice the issue of what direction. There's an actual direction. Does it feel like it's up, down, left, right? Do you feel and they said they want you to notice how unique this voice was, or unique what was said. And notice that the feeling, they said there's an actual feeling of a location. Now it could be inside the body, it could be from a direction, but it's still a location. They said that every time there's a movement outside yourself or within herself, the certain movement you do, you keep yourself very controlled. I had a friend that would always do this. And he was gay, but he would never admit it. And then finally he started admitting it. But what he would do every time he wanted people to see him as manly, he would deliberately do this. And you would lose track the fact that he was ever gay, just because. So there's something deliberate you're doing that sets a tone. Is that important? To keep yourself, have this steadiness of energy, you have to make sure that you keep this energy of whatever it is at bay. And so and the reason I'm pointing this out is because how we store pictures and memories is based on our sensory system. That's why we look at direction, we look at feeling, we look at all this. When it comes to a phobia, it is when you see a movement or when you hear something particular or a certain frequency, which is what they said, F sharp, you will then all of a sudden go, your body and everything, your whole life will start to wrap around and get busy around this phobia because you're like, I can't have this happen. I can't have this happen. And that is one of the things that I'm seeing. So you feel drained, can't eat, can't sleep. Your circadian rhythms are off, yes. Yeah, and yeah, the physiology. So how could we stop this? All right. Okay. So if I want you to hold up your left wrist, I want you to put your 2 fingers like this. Mind them. Nope. Over here. Up here. No. Over here. Right under the thumb. You can put your thumb nice and soft, finger in the palm, and do this. We got to get the body to stop repeating something. And so if you do that, there's something you're rejecting in your reality. You're like, nope, 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 nope. So just do this and just sit there. And sit there and just allow the body to talk. Breathe it through. If you have to rock, apparently you need to rock, then you do so because there's a certain movement that you have to do. And I need you to hold that. I'm not kidding. You want out of this, you start to heal this. There's a party that just keeps going to the, I'm helpless, I'm helpless, I'm helpless. And that's what I keep hearing over and over and over. And how you need to break this. You probably should see me because if it's fresher than some, but your body says, I just don't want to do something. And I think you would know more about what that is. Is there a certain point that she could rub? Not at this point, because we're going to have to create the sedation through this way. Okay, so your meridians are off. The circadian rhythms are off. I want you to email me and say circadian rhythms, okay? And if you're not sure how to spell it, fine. Then just spell Horary. Just say Aurora points or just Aurora. I will send you instructions on how to do that. How to repair your circadian rhythms, okay? And that's what you need to look at. A part of when you're holding L2S, I want you to figure out how you can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. And pay attention. Just notice, let your mind go nuts. Put your mind down in the body and then hear the words that your body's saying or the emotions that it's saying. Does this make sense? Because I need you to really, and you keep doing it. And when you'll begin to notice, let it go, remove, transcend, and let it go. You'll begin to notice that the number of how strong of how you know it's starting to come down. I can't repeat enough of how we got to get this to stop. And then that means we change the emotion, change the thought process, and then start correcting the body. Oh, let me just double check. You're welcome. Okay, so nobody else is paid. So that means we'll finish up with the, you know what's also that I have to do? Somebody did not know about the old rules. So I'm going to take a few of these people. Okay. Well, actually, do you have a Virginia Flores? AIM?
No.
And how about Pili?
I don't have Pili. I have...
Because I got Ronnie. Which one?
I've got Ronnie and Sophie.
Okay, so Ronnie Aldridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's good. And then we finished Lori M. Okay, so those two are done. And then, so we have, I'm going to do Virginia, Pili, and Teresa, and then we'll do yours. Okay? Okay. Virginia, she just said, any messages from Spirit that I need to know? Virginia, and mark the timestamp because I don't think she's here.
Yep.
It's interesting. It goes right into the kidney meridian, but then it goes down to it says that there's non-thinking, non-feeling. Is this invading? This is her result of a broadcast message. Did somebody yell at her? Somebody projected their energy onto her, and she felt attacked. Her heart says, oh, hell no. It says a fear of judgment. It went into the fear of judgment. I don't want this. And then it feels, and it disconnected. It created a disconnect. That's the energy that's happening. And they said that it's overtime hopelessness. So it's like you were trying to do something, then this is the reaction. So you're trying to grow, and then that was your reaction. You can feel they're exerting the power. The exerting the power scares you. It really just scares you. And I keep wanting to take a deep breath, but that's the exertion. It's that the thing that came at you. And you have to heal the guilt that seems to keep repeating the pattern. You can heal the whole pattern, but yeah, there's a guilt. Pili. Anything spirit wants. All right, timestamp. Pili. There's been some criticism about the way that you're taking care of your son, or the way that you're taking care of the situation, or something with the bills, or who caused the accident. Somebody's criticizing you because you're not doing it their way. There's something to do with, I don't know if it's loud or not, but it's just feel like there's something there. And there's a part of you that's like, I can't deal with this right now. I don't have the compassion. I don't have the compatibility. I don't, it's like, you're not allowed to have your own thoughts. And your body's like, I want to bark back. I want to bark back is what I hear. Your root chakra says it's family. And you're like, I'm tired of living through there. So you have to consider the source. Now you can take a little bit of information, but you're just going to have to, you've got this. They said that the compulsion for you to distrust them is what comes up. And they're saying every right so, because it's not your truth. It's not the way you would do it, because you're not meant to do it their way. I'm going to take TP, and then we'll take Ronnie. So TP, Teresa says, is there any points I can rub or manage it? Magnetic person or distant from my friend, my friend's mom. So she wants to help heal somebody else from a distance. Understand conflict is a huge thing for Cancer. And when a person really hasn't really looked at their personality and the little things that they have to change, then Cancer will be the issue. What you can do for the people that have this, and as I'm following her thought pattern to where it is, you can help see if you can help. Can she do that within herself? There's a lot of contempt in that woman's field. She has what's invading? It don't make sense to me. It does not make sense to me. Because when I see invading energies, all I see is her yelling and screaming at the world. And how is that considered invading? Her invading? That's invading her space. So it is being in this doom disapproval. She has extreme disapproval. Nothing's going to change. And there's anxiety. So all I can tell you is if you were to, you can be a surrogate, but please disconnect after you're done. Please. You can be a surrogate to help people. And what you do is you name them and you say, like, for instance, I'm Amy, I am Amy, I am Amy. Now, what the thing is that I'm Amy. So I'm going to check my Brenda. No, say I can do this muscle testing. I can do it, but I'm Amy. Okay. So if I'm Amy, and then I'm going to say, oh, she's having issues. I'm just going to I may balance her hormones. Okay. So I could balance her hormones. I could, in this case, she has a lot of, I would just put my hand over her heart and do this. So if you're that woman, I'd go, okay, I am. And then I would sit there and tap this point because your body is mimicking it on the field. You put it up on the grid and then she can accept it if she wants. Okay. You switch hands. This will help create the anxiety to come down, switch her sympathetic into the parasympathetic. But when you're done, please, there's several tricks you can do but you've got to reclaim your name. Re-say your name several times until you can feel it. And then you need to do disconnecting heaven, or you need to connect heaven and earth, and you need to do the Celtic weave, and then you need to do the hookup, because I don't want you to take her energy on. Do you understand? You only did it as a way of being the mirror and the surrogate. But then you have to let that go, because you do not need to think or feel or be that. Okay? All right. Now, and then I would say that what email do you have? I think that's LaRhonda. Is she next?
Yep, Ron. I just have Ronnie. I don't have LaRhonda.
Okay, well, she goes by that. What's the...
Just general, please.
Okay, LaRhonda. Well, it's interesting because they said the meditation worked, but there was something that you felt, I don't know if you feel that there's incompatible with something, invading energies from the family. So you're asked to look at your personality. How does LaRhonda have to show up in the family? Because you're choosing to always repeat this particular pattern and saying yes to this particular way of being treated, then you can't be in line with your golden path. Even though you have the new timeline, you're now being asked, do you still want to do things the old way? And this is where you're going to need some education and healing to flip you back over, because there's a part of you that's so afraid you're going to lose everybody. It's not about that you're going to lose anybody. How do you put it? This is the biggest fear, is just that you're not going to be accepted. It's what it boils down to, is you're going to be rejected. You're not going to be accepted. And I would say you need to heal that first, and that'd be L3D. Because you're like, but I don't know how to be an I or a me and have this in a nice relationship. I know how to be an I and an it, but you're asked to grow. Excuse me, because it's really messing up your body. Now, someone just sent me an e-check. There's a problem with that. Because when you send it in an e-check, I don't get it for a good week or two. I won't get it until I come back. So that means either I got to trust and give you the reading anyway, or I wait until it comes in and then give you the reading. But I'm going to be out of town. So I'm going to ask Spirit, what do you want me to do this time? A Tamara steel. Now, normally I would tell you to go back out and to change that, but Spirit said no, because sometimes people have trouble doing that. We're going to take it anyway. And if not, then Karma will take over. But who did I just say your name was? The name is Tamara Steele. Tamara Steele, where are you? Was there any more 1 minute reads, dear?
One.
All right, let's have that one.
It's Sophie in general.
Ah, Sophie. Sophie. Where? What? Really? All right. Sophie. Within the next few weeks. I don't know what you asked. Something about the next few weeks. They said, yeah, in the next few weeks, if you would get past your habit, that habit you have is to have wounded pride. There's somebody that constantly is wounding your pride. You now don't even realize it's wounded because it's like you created a scab and you're like, yeah, whatever. That's just them. They're saying, but the thing is that every time that happens, it creates a twang of guilt that you now don't realize you're doing, but that guilt goes in and changes your path. It literally changes your path. Somebody charms you. Somebody charms you enough that you don't realize the relationship pattern that you have. And when that occurs, it really creates an auto response in you, and you don't even know you're creating an auto response. It means you haven't woke up. Like when my ex would gaslight me every day. All of a sudden one day I woke up, I could feel it. It was like right here. I'm like, I can't see it, but I can feel it. And then finally it came in front of me and I called it for what it was. And it was so true that I just went 19 years of being, I woke up, oh no, this ain't going to happen anymore. Did Teresa Fernandez just write AIM?
Nope, I don't have one.
Okay, so Teresa, I don't see it. Let me check over here. I'll check your spam box because you never know when something gets stuck in spam. Spam. Double checking. Okay, so no, there is a new email address to send it to. What's that?
I don't have any spam.
Okay, so Sophie says makes sense. Good. Maria Lee Steele, is that you when you sent the e-check? Now, if you're going to send things, try to make sure it doesn't come through e-check form because I won't get it for another week or so. Spirit told me that it's okay to go ahead and do the reading. I'm going to trust that I'm going to get the money. So what is it that you wanted to talk about? And I believe that one is Maria Lee Steele. If that's you, claim who you are. Because this goes by Tamara. And then you decide. Now see, Teresa said it worked, or she did. Okay, so whatever, Maria, you decide what it is that you want me to talk about, because you're getting paid. You're paying for 6 minutes. If you don't, then I can just do general or a cold reading, whatever you choose. While we're waiting, I'm going to do just, well, no, see, I can't guarantee that either because if Teresa's asked a question instead of just, because I was just going to get that 1 minute out of the way. But it's that lag time that we have.
You can do a 1 minute on me.
Oh, all right, we'll do that. Oh, she already wrote back. We'll come back to you in a minute. My dad. Is he dead? I need to know so which way I'm calling. Because if he's dead, I'll call. Oh, somebody's here. That's interesting. Are you a representative? Okay, so you have 8 people that are on the other side that want to talk. Now I only send one representative at a time. It's interesting because he says you're doing something towards yourself. You're feeling very guilty about something. Now, I'm going to tell you the picture. I don't know exactly what to say, except for the fact is that when he rushed up on my ear, it was very loud and as if he was talking down to me in a very tone-stern voice, just for a moment. And it was like, I don't talk to people like you, but then I realized it's not that. He was demonstrating something. Does that make any sense to you? Because, oh, don't touch my nose. Oh, what is that? Do you have sinus issues or do you have allergies? Okay. Oh, what the hell is this? It's I would have to say this has got to be allergies because all of a sudden it's like my nose, my eyes, there's something. I'm crying. Okay, so are you crying? Yes, she said yes. But are you crying? Yes to what? Yes that he yells? Yes that you have allergies? Because it's like, whew. Okay, so I got something right. It seemed to really affect the right eye for some reason. But that's also where he was screaming too. Is there some other representative that can come forward and talk so that they can translate it better? Somebody came forward and says they like their pink. There was a pair of pink shoes, a pair of pink tapping shoes, or some type of pink. But you always could feel people. You'd have pictures in your head that people always had contempt, and you just feel like you could never be compatible because you were afraid if you put one foot forward, somebody is going to do something in a very strong way. You're very, very, you're very, very aware, and you're very, very feeling like it's always all the time. I keep feeling like you need to look on the ground. It's like you can't lift your chin up to look up. Lenny, your answer is yes. Charm. Oh, being confused of the charm. Okay. Oh, that would make a lot of sense. Hold on. I got it. If this, yeah. Okay. He said, how I conditioned you, how you saw me. He says, you're attracting men like that. You're attracting people like that, whether a man or female, but you're attracting people like that to have that. And then you keep looking down. He said, stop being the victim. Pick your chin up, pick your chin up, pick your chin up, because you don't need to be vulnerable. He's constantly wanting me to make sure I'm looking forward instead of looking down. He says, you're not going to trip. Believe me. He says, you got this. There's something about, you got this. There's something, well, taking that action step that's required. What were you, a drill sergeant? What the hell? Are you, something happened at age 12. There is a lot of energy that changed in your space, and it makes you, it's like when a child automatically changes their personality. And it could have been just from hormones. It could have been something that bad happened, but it changed. It changed you to some degree. And he says that there was a lot of under pressure that I don't know if he was putting you under pressure. That's why he's doing these things, so that you end up being a certain way. I was so wrong. I'm sorry. I don't know if he used sign language or he used his hands a lot, but there was something about that. Something about, he had a lot of pride. He says something about chopsticks. What the heck's a chopsticks? When it rains, it pours. There were certain phrases he would say. What? He meant to take action that night, but he didn't. Something about he gave in and just fell away. Now, I don't know how he died. He's not telling me. He says, I couldn't get out of ego. I was very much aware of it, and I would make people awkward intentionally. He says, but I would expand my energy out, but I'd always have a certain demeanor, a certain smile, a certain behavior, so sometimes you wouldn't even know he's doing it. Does this make sense? He says, my hands weren't always clean as you think they were. Something about, he's playing the hand that he was dealt. Part of the paradigm. He knows where I keep the paradigm. Part of the paradigm. Oh, you need to tell me if that makes any sense to you. He said, thank you. And he just, there he goes. Bye. Okay. Wow. Yes. Okay. So yes, I'm still doing paid readings and stuff like this. It's on and off. Whoever wants to be. Okay. So is there another 1 minute read?
Let me look. No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to take, and since that, I'm sorry, I had to look in spam. It says, you got something in spam. It says Domino's. Yeah, I may be hungry, but that's not important. So I love how they tell me, yeah, you're hungry. I am aware. So Amy, Now, what I want you guys to understand is that the reason we're doing this is so that you can learn something. So, Amy, go ahead. We're going to talk. What is it you want me to address? Now, we're going to pretend like this is a one-on-one to some degree so people can understand it, okay?
Okay. Issues that I've been having with my head lately.
Okay, so your sugars are off. Now, it's all she needs to tell me. She could tell me more, and that's what we can do. So if I ask Spirit, she wants to address, why is it? Why does she have to have a headache? Why? And they're saying, well, this is because of your guilt. I say, is it fresh guilt? They say, no, this guilt has to do when you were, really? Okay, so this one is to do when you were 21.
Cancer time.
Something in your life was very lofty. You distrusted life, person, yourself, life. You distrusted life. And your reaction to it was to feel this invading energy. And people were manipulating you left and right. So were people at this point telling you, did people tell you what to do all the time?
Yeah, they did.
How did you feel about that? Was it overwhelming?
Yeah, it was.
Did you feel you had the capability to say, I don't want to do what you tell me?
No, I didn't at that time.
Okay. And did they make you by guilt?
Yeah.
And so straight now, if you hear her, yeah, she just pulled up several memories. Boom. And this guilt, you can feel how monotonous it became after a while. It controlled every part of you because you already could predict what was going to happen. If I ask Spirit to go ahead and have you hold L3 or R3S. R3S is the triple warmer. And as she does this right now, you can't see her. You put down the kitty.
She wanted up.
All right. Well, hold R3S. R3S is that part of you that is your army, and it will stronghold you, take energy from every part of your body except for the heart. And it can make you have physiology issues galore. Now, why has this come up for her is because her soul says it's time to resolve how guilt controlled her. Guilt controlled her so deeply that because she couldn't change that behavior, she ended up getting cancer. She didn't want to live everybody's way, but she couldn't find her own. And this guilt is affecting her, the information process that's happening in her spinal cord, in her spatial orientation, her balance, her lymphatic system or lymph nodes. And the transference of information affects her pineal gland and the way she processes food, which then affects her parts of her endocrine system, which in the end affects her pancreas. Well, that's really detailed. So you can see how one little thing can all the way. Does that make sense? One little thing. And this one little thing controlled her life. Now, as she's doing that, I'm going to shut your time off because I know I'm going to hit you later, or he'll help you later. I'm going to take in, because for some reason, Teresa's, Fernandez's letter didn't come through. Lillian's has come through. And I'm going to, Amy, you just look and tell me what Lillian's or Teresa's is. And if not, I'll take care of both of those real quick. And then we have a paid.
Lenny
and then
is doing
a paid.
paid for 12 minutes.
Correct. But I'm going to take care of those other 2 people real quick.
Yep, I have no other emails.
All right, Lillian, and I'm going to look. So Lillian, I don't know. There's some land. I'm going to do it anyway. So the first one I'm going to take is Teresa Fernandez real quick. Teresa, and then the Lillian. You 2 real quick, tell me what it is you want your 1 minute read to be. I will do it that way. Because you're serious enough, you want it, you got it. So Teresa, tell me what you want. Lillian, what you want. I'll take care of those. Then it'll be Lenny, and then it'll be Pili. Okay. So as I'm waiting, we're going to do 1 minute read for Teresa. Yep, Pili, I got that. So Teresa Fernandez, and then Lillian. So what do you 2 want me to talk about within your 1 minute read? Because your emails didn't show up, so we're just going to do it this way. Okay, so as I'm waiting for that real quick, career guidance. So okay, no career, no. Okay. So you got to find what's important to you, because when you start to do this, you have to kick all the people out of your head, and you have to start finding what's important to you. You begin to listen to what your heart is, and then you're going to connect with Spirit and say, okay, what do I need to do? It may not make any sense to you, but then Spirit says, I've been trying to show you a part of your career is that you can make money doing this, this, and this. And so that, for instance, I didn't think I'd ever be doing Facebook videos, but then it came to me and I listened, and this is what I was supposed to be doing, which leads me to the rest of my career. It helped boost my career. They said that a lot of the career has to do with your positive thinking and the way that, but you feel like your genetic disposition of not being able to achieve something. And they say, pay attention to the deep awkwardness that seems to affect your ability to move your hips and your feet into the direction you want. So I would say you need to tap out awkwardness, because there's a party that doesn't know how to make a choice, or it doesn't know how to, but they say, pay attention to what's important to you, because it'll take and show you your value. And Lillian, we had given you a reading. I said it's about the sister I haven't spoken in 3 years. We did give that reading to Lillian, and she stepped away. I did give that read, and it was quite interesting. But we'll do the 1 minute read we'll do 1 minute read. Within this, the reason why this has happened is because you had to learn how to center yourself. She took it as an offense to some degree, but it was not really. You both were doing your shit. Spirit wanted you to separate to some degree. Okay, because you're supposed to be on your own separate paths. The learning to live your own way, because that one point you guys clashed at some point. But there was a read earlier that took. She's in her own house, but there's something that always make you feel like shit. You, her. So there's something that she's going through and defining. Yeah, it's but for you, it leaves you very muddled. And they said that when the emotions or the muddleness happens, it keeps you from evolving certain things. So Lillian, one of the things I would tell you about that is R1D. And notice the instability on that, because they said it has to do with something you can't be yourself, because you can't handle it or something. Okay. Going in. Oh, wait. No, I had the right page. We'll go to Lenore. Did you want to call, or did you want to do it like this? Okay, there's no instructions there. Okay, then that would make sense, Lillian, because yeah, you can't be yourself. I mean, she takes it all personal and all this other stuff, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Waiting for Lenore to come through. Amy stepped away real quick. So waiting for Lenore. And then after Lenore's Pili. And then after that, I'll have to be done because I have a 1 o'clock. Yes, please call. Please call. We'll just wait for her to call. Yeah, you have that option of calling. And as long as you're friends with me, Brenda Power, then you can call that number. Or through Facebook. That's Messenger. Excuse me. There's something going on. I can already feel it. Oh my God, my stomach. Oh, come on. Yes. Okay, we got it. Oh, wow. You look so different.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
I've probably got my hair done yesterday. That's the reason why.
Ah.
Yeah.
It could be. Now, what's funny is there's a slow reaction. I do like your hair. I like your hair because it feels like you. Okay, so.
Yes, it does. Just whatever I need to heal.
Okay, just a moment before you came in, I started having a lot of gas. That means you're not able to digest something recently. What in the world is that, though? Something that you're resonating with. Are you resonating like you're like, oh, I resonate with that? Or resonating is that your body's vibrating like that? Who are you matching? Somebody in the household? No, somebody outside. So when you go to class, when you go in your car. Wow. Okay. So it's like a group general. As soon as I feel like you get in your car, it's like all of a sudden you match the energy of your street, or they're matching something to do with, because it's not inside the household. That's what's interesting. Okay. So do you have to?
Planetarian?
Who? What?
Planetarian.
No. Do you have okay, for instance, do you have to talk to somebody that's in the social, because you have a child and, somebody has to pay child support. Do you have to listen to somebody? Are they given instructions? Or is there a teacher out there that you have to listen to because they're getting instructions? Do you understand what I'm saying? Is that they're trying to tell you to swallow something you don't need to swallow? Oh, wait. You told, is that
Teacher.
it?
Yes.
Yes. There was a piece of information and you knew it was not, they weren't correct, but that really does. Yes. And so you then, the way that they were trying to convince you, you did something towards yourself. And is that what you need to address? Okay. So you're saying this is part of the personality that's asking to be, because this is breaking away from the dynamics of the household. Okay. So did you have to get haughty? Did you have to, she's smiling. Okay. The question is, did you ever see any of your family do that? Okay. So you understand that in order for your future, you have to change certain personalities about yourself.
Okay.
So even though you understand how to use it and you've done it and it makes sense to do it. The question is, are you ready to transform that personality out in order to get on that path you want? Because that's what's stopping you from taking that next leg, is because you don't want to let go of that piece of your personality.
Yeah, I resonate with that. Yeah.
Okay, good job. And they're saying, now I'm going to ask a little bit further. They said that you were controlled by criticism. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that, that's part of it. So you don't want to do that with your child. Well, that makes sense. But you have to first know the loss every time. You know who Kath and Kim is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that family dynamics is a lot of criticism. There's a lot of it. It may be funny. It may be, it works for them, but you're changing your frequency to come out of that pattern. You don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, totally. I get that.
Okay.
And that's happening as well in mum's side of the family.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is that every time this haughtiness, this criticism happens, you get stuck into the after effects of overtime hopelessness. I mean, literally, you're like, I've been studying, I've been applying, I've been growing, and now I'm back to, oh my God, overtime hopelessness. Here I am again. How the hell does that happen? Okay. They said that has a lot to do with the muddled instability. So when you're looking at energy, it's the energy of how it comes together. It is how it communicates. It's, you know, and so if you're used to having, this is your comfort zone, it may not be pretty, you know, it's overtime hopelessness, but the child is saying that I come very unstable.
Yes.
The adult part is that it's such a pattern. I'm doing what? The child says, you have to learn when it's about ready to happen. You know, that you can hear the criticism, you can feel the haughtiness, and all of a sudden it'll be like a quiver. You shut it off of knowing this part about yourself. And they said, but you are fully aware, but you got to start connecting the dots. It's like, oh, I got to automatically behave. That is what they want you to address, is that moment.
Yes.
They want you to catch it. And then once you put out that flame of what that is, then it's like pulling out the trigger, the install button. And so when they do this, you don't have to take and do any reaction.
Yes.
Okay. So she wants to take that out. She said, they say it's stuck in your triple warmer and your liver.
I noticed that the other day. My skin's been itchy, so I knew my triple warmer's been going off the last couple of days.
And they said the triple warmer immediately, see, look, here comes my nerves. Immediately it goes into unworthy. Somehow your triple warmer goes, here it comes, just wait for it, it's coming. Somehow it's going to say that I'm unworthy, but that's a way that controls me. Your triple warmer automatically goes off, and it looks like the triple warmer's been going off. It's not that your sympathetic can't go into rest and digest, except for this part stuck on.
Yes.
Okay, it's part of the lockdown that happens with the units. And they said that it goes into unworthy, but then it goes into how you have to convince yourself they're right. So you can feel the haughtiness, which is the exertion of power. And then when that part of those words start to transform and criticize, you start to vibrate and become unstable. And then you vibrate into irrational thinking. This is where the liver comes in. And then next thing you know, you're convincing yourself, the child part of it is, that you have to go into, this is how Lenore is supposed to behave. Okay? And now you have another part of you coming up. The other part of you is like, oh, fuck no, I'm not doing that anymore. So now you have two Lenores come up, little Lenore and big Lenore. So then you have a conflict going on inside of you. And in the same time, if anybody saw you, you'd like, oh, she's got her shit together. And inside you're like, shut up. No, you shut up. Okay, no, why am I doing this? Why am I behaving this way? Why am I acting this way? And then the younger goes, we have to. And so you have an interesting battle going on inside of you right now. I'm sorry, but my stomach is like, what the fuck?
It's sort of like at the moment, yeah.
And it's like some of it wants to let loose. And so the potty was like, oh, thank God they invented toilets. Whereas another part of you is like, oh, Jesus Christ, I can't stop eating. Or I don't want to eat at all.
Yep.
I mean, there's just got like, what's the right thing to do is what the body's really asking, because it's like, do I listen to the little self? Do I listen to the adult self? Do I listen to the voice out here? Do I listen to what's right and wrong? That it's unstable. And you're like, too many instructions. It's like trying to do freaking algebra. Yeah. X equals Y equals this. X equals criticism, but it'll plus Y, but times that. Your life's a story problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything's calmed down. That's good to know. Ooh, yeah, that will take you straight to high beta, because it hijacks your brain.
Yeah.
You can't stop yourself from being that. But you can. All right. So we know that you're going to do the triple warmers to calm down. It's unworthy. The liver is irrational when you feel their exertion. But how do we talk to all of these parts to become integrated? It's the way you talk to yourself. They said you really need to, regardless of what's happening here, you have to own how you're talking to yourself, which part of you is talking to yourself. And it'll feel like you've got an attachment, but you don't. You're just cursing yourself.
I've been doing that lately, and also patterns from the past as well. And I'm like, is this useful? That's what I've been asking myself lately.
That's a very good question. Is that useful? Exactly. So the little part of you is like, but I have to. No, I have to. No. So you got those instructions because you already know that the worst is going to come. So half of your body is saying, I fear that outcome. I dread all these moments, but I fear that outcome. The other part of you is saying, fuck the outcomes. I'm in charge. But at the same time, you don't want to be rejected, which is another part of the outcome. It kind of looks the same. I'm not being accepted for who I am, because you know that the moment you try to exert who you are, they're going to try to stuff you back down the hole. And you're like, I don't want to do that. But at the same time, you're like, yes, I am. So you're really in a wrestle. So where is it that I can, besides those two things? Oh, it's a nasty ass habit. I'm aware of that. Ooh, she's got is it story? Who has the story? Your 4-year-old has the story. She's like, oh my God, she's stunned. She's just like, shocked. I'm looking at her being shocked. Oh, so that you've seen a behavior in one of your parents that you hadn't seen before, but it was aimed at someone else. And you thought, if they can do that to them, they're going to do it to me next, because I want to hold my gut. I'm like, I'm sick to my stomach because I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm waiting for that moment to happen. I know it's going to happen to me. Oh, if I could have periods, I would automatically cause myself to have a period right now.
Yeah. I get it.
There's no way I'm going to ever have babies ever again. Let's clean that fucker out. Do you know what I mean? There's a party that's like, I don't want to pass this genetically along.
Yeah, I get that totally. That's what's happening to me. It's like I get the symptoms, but not quite.
Yeah, my whole body's like nuts. What's going on here? I don't get, what's this? I gotta scratch my chin.
Yeah, that's me. That's me at the moment. Look,
you are doing that. Oh, that's you trying to not contract. I don't want to contract my energy. I don't want to think so. Oh, are you losing weight?
Yeah.
Are you able to lose weight easy?
No.
Okay, so I'm watching her aura be out here, but yet I'm looking at a very thin Lenore. And as I'm looking at her, it is like, if I don't want to have to go small so that my body goes big. She's literally saying, I don't want to be big anymore out there. So this is why she's doing this. By the way, that really fucking itches too. So just saying. Where are you going? It says overwhelm. Now hold on. It just went from the heart, but it took its lovely ass time to get to overwhelm. It's to do with that expansion of yours. I have to have this expansion. What, in the physical? No, my energy to go out there to make money to get my house and to have kids and to find my man. Yes. But I make myself incompatible with my family around me. Oh, that makes sense. So if you're trying to expand yourself out and you're making yourself incompatible, you're transferring that into out there. So you're incompatible with your house, you're incompatible with your job, you're incompatible with. So in order to do that, because your brain don't know a difference, is that you have got to. You need to. Do you want her to do? All right, so this is where it's going to take a little time. It's not that you want to make yourself incompatible. Yeah. You want to make yourself to remove the triggers. They can come to you. You're going to learn how to send out the light. They can either come to you and accept it and stop putting it out, or they can zigzag the other way. But you are going to learn to expand the light. Instead of, again, that's what you got to learn to do. You got to learn to, you're compatible with all, but I'm not putting my hand in the fire. You're going to learn how to, here I'm drawing the line. You can talk to me nicer. I know you got it in you, and then walk away, but you feel you can't because you're stuck where you're living. Practice the light. Just practice expanding the light. Be the light. Okay? Because it's all about that unstable emotion that throws you right back into not being able to move.
Okay.
Well, thank you for honoring me, my dear, and good luck. That's a lot of work. You can do it. You can do it.
Thank you so much.
I love you. All right. I'll take them all. All right. Bye, honey.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so the next person is Pili, whatever spirit wants. Okay. And where is Miss Pill? Pili. Miss Pili. Okay. Ooh. Then what are you talking about? You have uncertainty, and because there's something that's uncertain, you kind of mull it over to the point where it makes you feel depressed. Does that make sense? Because they're saying that that type of thinking is actually very toxic. In order to get yourself to stop thinking that, then you think of world events. And then that throws you right back into the program. You want a particular outcome. But the world and everything else bitch slaps you around. And it's very hard for you to focus on that particular outcome because it's like they won't let you. And then it goes all the way back to when the prenatal womb, in the womb, prenatal conception. Oh, okay. What is it? Inadequate. Anything else? Pili, use your hand or get a refrigerator magnet. We're going to remove out inadequate. So you're going to say prenatal conception inadequacy. Prenatal conception inadequacy. Prenatal conception inadequacy. Prenatal conception inadequacy. Prenatal conception reality. Prenatal conception inadequacy. Prenatal conception inadequacy. Prenatal conception inadequacy. Prenatal conception inadequacy. We'll do one more. Prenatal conception inadequacy. Okay, that's a feeling that's changed. What's changed? What's changed? Oh, that's what your spirit wants. Okay, no, I got it. Here or the next one? Next one. You make yourself antisocial with, I'm assuming, family, because they're going back to the root chakra, because it says something to do with, it's going to be the same stories, the same dogma, and you're tired of that. All right, I'm going to ask Spirit, do you have to go back to that? Is there something she still needs to learn? No, this has to do with your son, because now they're too involved in something. Does that make sense? Is there anybody over there? Okay, so you have a dog that's from the other side that's here and says, I just know that when you used to meditate was, I don't know if you had a dog or an animal. I just know that there was something to do with that you kept your ego busy. And you were able to just allow yourself to drift into a relaxation. Because, oh, Pili. You're waking up further. Oh, wow. I don't know. Should I? If I said earth angel, what would you know? Just think about it for a moment. There are star seeds on this planet. There's earth angels on this planet. There are lots of things that people think, oh, no, there's just humans. That's not true. Miss Pili, you have, I think you went and did the meditation. If you did, then you're on that timeline. You have gotten information in your encoding that's saying that there's a part of you that for your journey. Usually I'm told I am. You're ready to step into what that means. Now, you may need to do a little research, but you have a job to do. And your body's code is lit up right now. I'm watching how you haven't got quite your instructions like I've gotten mine, but you are to become more aware of this because you're meant to not just be human anymore. You have a job to do. And you're like, what does that mean? Well, look at me. What is my job? My job, I love it. I'm walking and talking and breathing it, and I'm on my golden path, and I'm in my golden bubble, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And you'll know too. And sometimes some people, but it can be just very small. You may, if you feel like you're supposed to, some people are supposed to be activists. Some people are to educate. Some people, you'll know. Like, look up what Earth Angel means. Like, what is that job definition? You know, there are certain cues. Look up starseeds. I believe I'm from the Andromeda part. Just what sets your soul on fire? Exactly. There is. Amy is waking up. She was just an ordinary chick that she's like, oh yeah. She's got a whole life ahead of her now that she didn't think she had a life before, or she thought she had life before, but now she's got a whole destiny that's starting to lay out. Each step doesn't make sense to her, but she just knows she keeps healing her shit. There's different star seeds, people, and it's important you learn. Those that are meant to wake up, you will know. Like, the reason why my numbers don't go up like everybody else's is because I'm only supposed to be catering to those that are supposed to hear the word. And you and I had agreed we're working together to do our part on this planet that raises the frequency, that whether you're doing it just through one person at a time or massive groups, you don't know exactly what it is until you start stepping into what you love, what's important to you, and you start to break those patterns. Oh, I have to obey here and I have to listen to that. No, you're done with that personality. Trust me, if you're not done, you'll get your ass kicked again and again and again because they're like, wake up, you're supposed to be over here. You don't have to wake up completely to know. You find, like Amy just knows that she was just watching readers. Amy, come on. Talk to me, girl. She's like, oh no, she put me on the spot again. Amy, there's a part of you that's waking up. I can't hear you, babe. What?
You were frozen.
Oh, well, I'm unfrozen. I can't hear you very well. Can you bring I need you to tell people that you were just an ordinary chick that was living her life with her cats and happy and doing readings and doing arts and watching kids. And, well, I've kind of told you already. But your life is different now, isn't it?
It is. It's very different.
Can you guys hear her okay? Because it's very quiet. I can't quite hear you. I don't think I touched.
You want me to call Facebook?
Yeah, try that.
Okay.
Try that. It might be louder. Not sure why that happened. Oh, because some reason. Yeah, I know what it means. Okay. All right. So go ahead. Get the seeds out of your mouth.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes, I have a mouth full of seeds, so. Yeah, I was watching kids. I was
She had a life.
married to. I have a life, yeah. I mean, I worked with mentally and physically handicapped people, and I love that. And it was like right after my dad died that I started waking up.
Okay.
And realizing that I thought there was something more to life than just everyday mumbo jumbo life.
But to you, it seemed normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started to realize that urge. There's something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I knew there was something else out there.
Okay, so did that jive with any of your family and friends?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, so but that inner fire, that urge, what started to be important to you? You didn't give a rat's ass about what everybody else thought. And you started to discover people, psychics, me, all that. Yes?
Yes.
Get those seeds out of your mouth. Okay, now how has your life changed? And just since June?
Just since June, people have fallen away.
Now, how did they fall away? Did you push them away?
No, our vibe the vibration just wasn't there anymore.
So the more she dived into who she is, her vibration and her change, her thought patterns. Yes, this is what I love. This is who I am. I'm stepping more in my authenticity. I'm healing my shit. And the vibrations changed that she zigged and they zagged. Yes, that's why I say you have to be okay to lose your family and friends. Some of them you have to kick to the curb and some of them you don't. Spirit does it for you. Go on.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many people that I, thought that I would be lifelong friends with. I have no clue where they are, what they're doing.
That's important. That's important because her family and friends are very important to her. She would, but now, if I told her that she'd have to change that part of her, she would have fought tooth and nail and say, no. But she did it all on her own, not knowing. And now, if I told her that information now, she goes, I could see that. But I know before you would have said, oh, hell no. Like, where are they?
I would have said, oh, hell no. But, I mean, I have a grandniece that's about a year and a half old, and I've never met her. And it doesn't bother me.
But before it'd be, oh my God.
A year ago, it would have bothered the hell out of me.
Yeah, it would have drove her nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, do you have kids in your household now?
A little white one and a little black one, and they're kitty cats.
So her kittens are her kids, but the kids that she was taking care of, doing free work, never getting paid, doing it because she couldn't have kids, and then it was an honor to take care of these kids. Now all of a sudden that's not me. Mm-hmm. And then the universe took the kids away from her because issues with the parents, issues with that, it had nothing to do with her. She's like, the universe arranged things for her to be more on her path.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your confidence. Well, I don't know if I can have a job. I don't know if I can do this because she has a lot of physical ailments. But now you're like, the possibilities that you may be independent is because you're starting to get confidence, and that a job opening that you never thought could really occur is starting to appear, and you're like, wait a minute, something's possible?
Mm-hmm.
She's got seeds in her mouth, people.
I'm trying.
Well, how would you put a whole bunch in there?
No.
But the point is that I don't have to explain it, but I also have done this enough that I have the words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, words for it. It's just.
Would you ever go back to that old life?
No.
Why?
I wouldn't want to, because it's hell.
It's hell.
I mean, I seem to be. He called during the show.
Oh.
I was still alive. I was still unmuted, so I hung up on him before it rang all the way through, and then I muted and I called him. Oh, I was just wondering what you were doing. Like, you haven't talked to me for 3 weeks, so what the fuck?
That's her old life. But the thing is that you can't be the same person that you were, and you are happier.
Yes.
Are you healthier?
Yes.
Is life make more sense?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you have to? Do you have to feel like you got to cope, handle, and deal with life every day, or do you feel like there's actually more joy?
Oh, there's definitely more joy.
And how about the stability in your life?
Stability's getting there.
Okay, and that's only since June. And the reason we mark it as June because that's when she decided that she's going to take hold and do some of the tools that I do. So would you say that your life's been on a fast track?
Oh, yeah.
Do you regret any of it?
No.
No, she's smiling big.
Not 1 minute of it.
And so you're ready. You're ready for more, correct?
Correct.
Now, the whole point of why I brought her on is that Pili, she didn't know any of the steps, but she had an urge. And she knew that her goal was, there's something else out there than this. And even though she thought her life was good and she didn't pay attention that every day was hell, she only learned that afterwards. And now she's like, ooh, so every time she gets an aches and pains, she goes, I can heal that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before it was, oh my God, I'm doomed.
Right.
So things are happening for her.
If I can't find the right points or something, it's like, work clock, it's 4:30. Oh, Brenda should be up.
Yes, and that's why I'm here. Pili says, I feel there is something I should be doing, not sure what to do, but I know that it's not what I do. I've been waiting to retire. Now, here's the thing. Yes, as you begin to retire, you're waiting in my classes. It's coming. They're coming in January. Yeah, and then those will take you in leaps and bounds if you're ready to jump on your path. So if you feel like you're going to retire, just start asking every day, Spirit, what do you want me to learn? Thank you, Spirit. What is it to learn today? Thank you, Spirit. Your goal, make one goal. The goal is that you're on your path. And basically I said, I thank you because I am on happiness. I have happiness. I'm on the road to happiness. I have happiness. Every day I'd get up and I'd say, thank you. I have happiness today. And I didn't know some of it. I says, what does it look like? I've seen that. Thank you. Grateful, grateful, grateful. What does happiness look like that I don't know? And then stuff would come. And then all of a sudden, unresolved issues would come up. And it says, we have to take care of this with your ex. And I'm like, if I want happiness, I need to resolve this. And have I been avoiding it? Do I not understand it? Oh, stop giving your power away. Oh. And that's when I started to discover that I was married to a narcissist. You know, I started to know that I was being bullied and that it was gaslighting was tremendous. And when I woke up to that and I started to heal that out, he had no more power over me. And that pissed him off. And all of a sudden my path switched a little bit further and says, okay, you're ready now. And I said, okay. So I said, hasta la vista. I'm leaving the home. I'm done. Pili goes, no, my internet just fell. But you're back. You get to listen to the end if you need it. That's the best part. All right, I got to go because it's after 1. And I told this lady that I was going to be there, but I haven't heard back from her anyway. But anyway, thank you very much for all of that you participate with me. And I love you. Now, remember, you can resolve to evolve. You're going to learn more about what that is. You can heal instead of deal. Oh, God, I want you to learn more of that one is. And just always say to yourself, I can heal that. Because all your answers are within. You may have to right now come on the outside to get it. But soon you're going to be able to go within and build that trust. Okay? You can do it. And watch other shows. I'm going to be on vacation, but watch other shows. There's some old shows you haven't seen. Now, yeah, maybe she'll put some up. All right. Remember, I love you. And what do I always say? Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
And my YouTubers, love you. Stay blessed.